I thought you left.
No,
Because
I'm sorry.
you disappear, and I thought, the evil company, they kidnapped Mike because of some information he shared that it was top secret, but actually it was me. I died completely. My internet died. I'm still here. If we can go back to the conversation, you were telling me about this puzzle pin that you have to solve a puzzle to find the place, and then you were saying what you do once you are in the venue.
Yeah, it's so every month there's a different theme and someone writes puzzles for it. And there's 4 puzzles you have to solve, and it's not like, oh, I've seen this puzzle before, or oh, that's another word search or a crossword puzzle. They're all completely new and different and made up each time. And there's some familiarity. It's not like no one comes up with a puzzle that is like, I've never seen anything like this before. But they're all completely bespoke, completely new. And then you have to solve 4 of them, 4 completely different ones, and then use the answers for those 4 as input to solve the 5th puzzle, which is called the meta puzzle. And usually there's a couple of other puzzles and bonus puzzles, but this happens every month. There's all new, all completely different puzzles, and it's really those kind of puzzles. We love doing it. We've got our friend Scott to come join us every month, and we go and do them every month and have been doing them for years, and they're a lot of fun. They're like mini one-night versions of a bigger thing like a puzzle hunt, or, you know, some of the bigger ones, the MIT puzzle hunt, or Microsoft does a puzzle hunt, like some of the bigger events like that. This is like a tiny, like one night fun for everyone kind of event. And so we've been doing them regularly for years now.
It's called Puzzle Pint or Puzzle Hunt, or is the same or different?
Puzzle Pint is the one that happens in pubs. Puzzle Hunt is a bigger event that they have, like, you know, once a year. MIT does a big one, and that's a really well-known one. Other places do them as well. But those are 2 different things, but they're kind of similar. Puzzle Hunt is the really hard version, and Puzzle Pint is the one that you can do over a few beers. So not as intense.
I must say I played the demo of Puzzle Spy International. I think it was last August, during the Cerebral Puzzle Showcase. Mm-hmm. What you've described sounds very, very like a lot like Puzzle Spy International. This Puzzle Pint and Hunt. It's kind of like I guess it's different because you said all of them are different. Every puzzle it's completely different from the other, but I feel like cryptic crosswords, kind of like the rules are not set anywhere, like you can expect anything, kind of.
Mm-hmm. I mean, very much Puzzle Spy International is very much like, we love the idea of Puzzle Pint, and we said, let's make our own version of it with, instead of 4 puzzles or a 5th puzzle, let's make X number of puzzles. Let's write a whole story that ties it all together. Because usually in a Puzzle Pint, there's like a loose theme that kind of ties it together, but it's not very story heavy. It's like, okay, here's some characters. Maybe it's the Muppets. Maybe it's a character from another TV show you like. Maybe it's characters from a book. This month it's going to be the Beatles are solving puzzles, but it's really just kind of a loose thread that ties things together. And we said, well, let's take that idea and make all new, all different puzzles and make a real story. I mean, let's actually have a character who has a reason to go do puzzle after puzzle after puzzle. So you were talking about hobbies. We've looped it all the way back to Puzzle Spy, but in theory, that's why people are here. But I mean, Puzzle Spy, you know, came out of us really having this hobby, loving doing puzzles, and saying we could make a whole game out of this, and it would be pretty cool.
Maybe I should have a counter for how many times Puzzle Pint comes into the conversation, because I'll give you another chance to describe the game later. But you'll see. So continuing with these quick questions. You see how quick they are.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite puzzle video game?
Ooh. The most recent one that we really fell in love with was Type Help. We absolutely love that one. It's now being remade. It's a text-only game that's available for free on I think it's on itch. But they're remaking it. Robin Ward, who remade Root Trees Are Dead into the fully, featured Root Trees Are Dead that everyone has played, is now taking that Type Help and turning it into the Incident at Galley House. And that's going to have graphics and audio and a lot prettier interface. We played the free text-only version. Absolutely love the story in that. Love the mechanics in that. The story is going to stick with me a long time. Absolutely. And when I say we, Talia and I, if it's puzzle games, Talia and I play all the puzzle games together. We don't play singly. I'll play other stuff without her, but we play puzzle games together. So I think that's one of our favorites. We really love that. We put 100 hours into Blueprints, but we also we certainly loved Blueprints, but we also have some issues with Blueprints. By the time we were done with it, we were done with it. So that's also high up there. We loved Blueprints and we were done with it. So I'll say those two.
I think you've answered another future question. I'll let you know when we get there. Favorite non-puzzle video game?
Oh, geez. Okay, I'm going to say Portal 2.
Good one. Anime?
That's kind of puzzly too, but anyhow.
It's a choice of many. Many people choose Portal 2. So, anime, subbed, or dubbed?
Say that again? I missed that.
Anime, the Japanese animation, cartoon, subbed with subtitles, or dubbed, as in with voice.
Subbed.
Sub. You are welcome in the club. Everybody choose sub. One thing that you would change about the video game industry, just name the thing. I'll let you know in advance that there's next one is about AI.
It actually wouldn't be AI, but I would just like to have the video industry just be more maintainable and stop having 40,000 layoffs in 3 years. Actually make it that people stick with games and are making games that are sustainable and trying to, instead of just laying everyone off and hoping that you will still make games somehow without any of the expertise that made your last game.
Maybe I digress a little bit here. But because people are laid off, they become indie, or they tend to. And then there are more people making games, and there are a ton of games that people cannot play. There's not material, real time to play all those games. So we should have not layoffs, less games, but those games make them better. Maybe. So as a consequence.
I think it's great that people are making more indie games, and I'm not critical. I'm doing one myself, but it's also really hard to support yourself doing that. I'm not going to make enough money on Puzzle Spy International to support my family, our life. It doesn't, here in the United States, you don't get healthcare you don't get affordable healthcare unless you work for a company. You don't get healthcare working for an indie game, so you then have to purchase healthcare yourself, which is more expensive than if you work for a company. It's even people who have been laid off and are making indie games, and I am one of them. You can only do that if you have a day job that you are supporting yourself with, or if you happen to have saved up a bunch of money, or you're taking work on the side, or you just happen to have money. It's not there's no way to support yourself doing it. Not every indie game. If 20,000 indie games came out on Steam last year, not all of those are making enough to support their families and to live. It's not really sustainable. We could only make Puzzle Spy International because we have day jobs, and we did this on nights and weekends. We couldn't just stop everything and make it.
I didn't mention for anyone watching, Mike is said, or is working from United States, and I wouldn't be able to imagine how it feels what you just said, what you just described, because I was born in Spain. In Spain we have public health, and then I moved to Australia, and there's also public health. So I've never been in that situation where it's like a sword on your head, and if you make the wrong move, the sword comes down. Kind of like living with that pressure and uncertainty. So I wouldn't be able to imagine, but it sounds terrible. If we move to AI, which is a favorite topic for many, the question is, where would you stand in AI? Because some people it's totally no, some people are I'm happy with it, some are in the middle where sometimes yes, sometimes no. For these kind of things, yes. I'll let you answer.
Okay, I'm mostly on the no side. As far as generative AI, absolutely no way. I mean, not even a little. Not even, oh, I just used it for brainstorming and then I did the art. No AI at all. That's still theft. It's still people who are not being compensated for their work. And it's still, as they do more studies, it's proving to just kind of rot people's brains. Oh, if I don't have to do any of the work, I don't need to ever develop those skills, either in terms of creating art or in terms of thinking, in terms of just having it answer questions. I certainly know people who have been using Claude for programming and saying, if you're a senior developer and you already know how to code and you just want to do this function for you and you're mostly in charge of it, I've heard people speaking very highly of it. I can't really speak to that because I've never used it, but I see a lot more coders using it. I don't know where I stand in terms of that, because isn't that still theft? But in terms of generative stuff, absolutely, I stand as far away from it as possible.
The less we think about it, maybe could be better, but at the same time, we have to think about it because it's getting more and more into our lives. So we'll get to a point where we have like a moral decision, like, okay, if it's for, let's say, translating the Steam page, it's not going to steal anything, maybe initially, but if it translates the in-text, the text in-game, maybe we are stealing someone else's job, or maybe there wouldn't be a game. But then if you accept that and then you think more about it, it's like, what implies to use this generative AI, like the servers and the heat they produce and the sound they produce and the water they consume and everything else, and then we get to the no, but it's getting into our lives. So
yeah, I mean, it's absolutely true. It's like, oh, well, in this case it's okay, but it's still destroying this much water and this much forest, so does that make it okay? I mean, I didn't even get into the environmental stuff, but that's another reason I'm against it.
It's not in here, but very quickly, do you think this is like industrial revolution, where we get a lot of a huge advancement in technology, but at the same time we are polluting the planet? Maybe we are not all aware of it until in 25 years when we start seeing the consequences, and then maybe we shouldn't.
I mean, we're already seeing consequences now. I mean, climate change is not something that's happening 25 years from now. I mean, this week it has been like, I can't translate into Celsius, I apologize, but it's been like summer weather here this week, and it's been March. We're seeing forest fires burning for longer. We're seeing weird things happening to the ocean where it's heating up. I mean, we are already seeing the results of man-made climate change, and this is just one more thing that's adding to it. So I don't think there's something you can say, oh, well, maybe 25 years we'll see the results of this. It's just piling on to all the other things that we're doing and have been doing for decades that are having an effect today. So,
sorry, I wanted to be a little bit positive and optimistic, but you can't.
We weren't going to talk about politics. We just dove right into that.
To completely change the topic, different color socks, yes or no?
You mean for myself, I tend to mostly would just wear black socks, but I think someone who can pull off colorful socks, I'm not one of those people. I just go for the colorful shirts. But yes, I'm totally in favor of all different color socks. I think socks are great. They're just
okay. Hang up.
I tend to go with something that shows on camera more.
I was about to call the police, but you're safe. We are in. I was going to say March. You are in March. I'm in April. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are at the beginning of the year. My question is, which is your GOTY so far? But maybe it's too soon. If you don't have any, you can say last year's. Or maybe you have already. So which is your puzzle game of the year so far? But it's too early in the year.
Oh, I think it's too early. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't had a chance to play a ton of games lately because I've been working on shipping a game. The number of games I've played just this year alone is like little. So I have such a backlog of puzzle games that I need to play. I can't even say. I would love to tell you it's mine, but it isn't. I mean, there's a ton of games coming out.
Well, it could be yours.
It could be, but
if you don't have any, you can maybe choose last year's.
Last year's I'd say Blueprints. Although again, Type Help, and Blueprints for last year are my. And I don't even know what year Type Help came out. No, it was nominated for awards last year, so it would have been a last year game.
I guess.
But again, there's tons that I haven't played. I am in no way encyclopedic in my experience of puzzle games.
This one is the one that I think you already answered, which is your most anticipated game. So I guess is the Root Trees.
No, well, Root Trees is already out. I wouldn't even say the Incident at Galley House, because for me, I've already played it. Even though I've played it in a totally different form, it's one of those that once you know the story, it kind of, I'm not sure how much replay value it will have for me, but I would love to see it get a wider audience. So for other people, if you haven't played Type Help, definitely be looking forward to the Incident at Galley House. I'm super excited for that. But I won't play it because it's one of those, you kind of play it once and it doesn't have as much replay value. The story is, you now know what the story is. I'm trying to think of what else is coming out or that I'm like really looking forward to. I'm almost embarrassed to tell you what's on my backlist because there's some like major classics there that as soon as we kind of have everything kind of set up with Puzzle Spy, and it just launched yesterday. We still have like some fixes. We still have some other stuff to do. We have a little bit of DLC, but like I haven't played Obra Dinn. We haven't played Golden Idol. Like we have like a list of like once we finish with Puzzle Spy and once Talia finishes with her degree, she's been working towards her master's degree. Chance of Sonar is on our list. We've been dying to play that. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we want to play, but these are all old games. I mean, Obra Dinn has been 5 years old, but we never got around to playing it. So and now we're really excited about narrative deduction. So we'd like to loop back around and get some of those what are now considered classics like Golden Idol, like that we have not experienced.
You don't have to worry because I never played Baba Is You until last month. So and I played
I finished it, but I have played them.
I played Talos Principle 10 years after the release. So I played this special edition they made, like anniversary edition. So also, Gubertron has noticed that you said there's a DLC coming. Is this a world premiere?
It's before you get like super excited about DLC.
No.
I'll be honest. It's the soundtrack.
The soundtrack, okay.
The soundtrack.
But it is a DLC.
It is a DLC, and you heard it here first. Well, I'm working on getting the soundtrack out. It's not a long soundtrack because it's not a long game, but Alex Doty's music deserves to have its own spotlight because it's so good. So we definitely want to make that available for people to purchase because it's really good. And it deserves.
I said Root 3, I meant the Incident at Galley House, which is the remake.
Okay. I thought that's what you meant.
Yeah. Very last one in this block. It's kind of a special question every interview. Why Carmen Sandiego is not from San Diego?
I don't actually know the answer to that. And I actually know people who worked on the original game. I years ago worked for Broderbund Software when they were doing Carmen Sandiego games, so I know a lot of people involved with the original game, but I don't actually know any of the backstory. I don't know why she's not from San Diego. I don't know where she's actually from. I know where she's from, like in the animated TV show, but that's like the 5th iteration of her. I don't know where the original Carmen is from. I mean,
Googled it.
It's just Nevada, California.
I Googled it just to document myself for the interview, and I found she is from Argentina, but I don't know all the story, but she's kind of adopted, or she was orphan. So actually nobody knows, but she was found in Argentina, and depending on the version, sometimes she's Mexican. That's why probably Carmen is kind of a Latin name.
Yep.
But I was wondering as well. You are supposed to not know the answer of the last question, just so you know. But maybe.
And I didn't. Perfect. I didn't
know. It would be interesting to watch the last question, and maybe I make a video about this. The last question on the first block, it's always a special question, and it's supposed to not have an answer, but sometimes like guess they come up with a very inventive solution. So this is the end of the first part.
Okay.
We move on to the pre-game block, which is more about you, and then now we settle a little bit. This is more less open. I'll ask my questions. You can answer at your own pace. And it's more about you as a developer, or you and Talia as developers. She's not here, but you can talk for her.
Okay.
What led you to the situation you are now? Why you make the game? So first question is, who is Travel Friendly Cake?
Okay. Well, hopefully, just to back up, my wife Talia is inside. She has class tonight. She's been working on her master's, and so she has class tonight, and she has a cold, so I hope she will join us afterwards. And we've been married for 20-something years. We've been together for a while. And we like doing things together and playing puzzle games, and making this is one of them. So that's who Travel Friendly Cake is. I should probably introduce myself a bit as well. I mean, you've been chatting with me. I'm Mike. I've been a game developer for 35 years. I started actually at Broderbund Software, who made Carmen Sandiego. I was working on early CD-ROM games there, a series called Living Books. From there, I moved to Blizzard. I made a game that you might have heard of called Diablo 2, and I did a lot of work on that. I did some work on Diablo 3, but not any that made it into the actual game. And then I bounced around. I've worked at a ton of different mobile companies, and I've been doing art at all of these. So that's where I come from. I'm the bulk of the game development experience at Travel Friendly Cake. Talia has never made a game before. She is not an aspiring game developer aside from Puzzle Spy. Like we just said, this would be a cool thing to make together. Let's make it. And we made it. But she is not and now I'll get a job as a game developer. She would like to get a job as a therapist. That's why she's in school for that.
So, Travel Friendly is 2 people. Are you sure you are not forgetting anyone? Like a consultant or an advisor?
Travel Friendly Cake is just the two of us, but the game would not have come to fruition without two really important people. I mentioned Alex Doty, who is the composer for all the music in Puzzle Spy International, and a programmer named Cypher Zent, who did most of the coding for all the puzzles in RenPy. Not full-time in parts of Travel Friendly Cake. They are contractors, but the game would not have happened without them, and we're immensely happy to have had their help making this game.
Maybe I'm confused. You'll help me here. When I played the demo in last August, there was someone in the chat. Maybe I'm confused here. There was someone in the chat who seemed to know a bit about the game.
That was our kid Piper. Piper is not an official part of Travel Friendly Cake, but they are our child, so they know a lot about it, and they decided, I'm gonna watch the chat and maybe add some hints. They're not actually a team member, but they co-reside with us, so they kind of an honorary member.
That's who I meant because I said family member, and I thought there's someone else who this person seemed to know a lot about the game, and while I was playing they were giving me kind of an advice like, oh, do this, don't do that. And sometimes this happens when the developer comes into the chat and starts chatting and we interact, and I thought they were the developer, and I said, are you the developer? Oh, no, my parents or my dad is okay.
That's our daughter Piper.
So it'll be as consultant in the credits.
Sure. Special
advisor. So you kind of gave away a bit of information of what I'm going to ask, but it's fine. I don't usually ask guests to introduce themselves because all the questions that I ask kind of like they go slowly bit by bit.
I jumped the gun. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. You can add up or we can skip the question. It's no problem. So
just squeeze more.
Travel Friendly Cake as your own studio is not your day job. I understood.
No. Nights and weekends.
And you are at the same time working for another studio that makes games?
Am. My day job is with a studio called Omni Mega Supercorp. And that is some guys who worked at Arrowhead on Helldivers 2. It's the lead producer and the lead writer from Helldivers 2. Basically finished making that game in Sweden and said, that's been fun. We'd love to move back to California and do our own thing. And so they moved back. They teamed up with another programmer who was not from Arrowhead. And they've been working for several years on a game called Ledgerbound. And that is my day job. I am a 2D principal artist on Ledgerbound, which is, there's already a demo out for it that's on and off. There's already a Steam page for it. It's a comedy game that also involves real-time strategy, romance sim, time management sim, paperwork, and more comedy. And it's coming out later this year, and that's what I do 9 to 5, is create art for that.
We could say they are funding Puzzle Spy or Travel Friendly, Puzzle Spy International or Travel Friendly Cake. somehow.
Not really. Yes, they're my day job, so they're. But I actually started. We started Puzzle Spy International before I even had that job with Omni Mega Supercorp. It's I was working on it, and then I got the job with them. And so now I'm just kind of balancing both of those.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be maybe strange for you, but not the question, but the answer. You'll see. You could be doing crochet, playing croquet, or making croquettes, but instead you decided to become a video game developer. Okay. Why so much pain? But in your case, you didn't decide this like 2-3 years ago. You've been doing this for a long time. So maybe we have to go way back but maybe way back the situation is not like is today. So maybe the question is two. Why did you decide to become a video game developer when you started? And the second part is, in the current environment, if you weren't a developer, would you become one? Or as you are now one, do you feel it's sustainable? Like, are you happy to continue?
Okay, let's start with first questions first.
Yes.
Why did I become a developer? I became a developer so long ago that it was actually really easy at the time. Like, I mean, you didn't have to have a lot of experience because no one had a lot of experience. I applied for a job at Broderbund, which was up in Marin County, north of San Francisco, and they said, "Sorry, you have animation experience." I had some stop motion animation and a little hand drawn stuff, and they said, "But we want someone with digital experience." So I went out, got a copy of, at the time, Macromedia Director, did some animation, sent it into them, and they said, "Okay, you've shown us that you have digital experience. You're hired." Today, you would have that, like, thousands of people applying for that job. They wouldn't be waiting for you for 2 months. Like that would not happen today. But back then, no one had that experience. Just, okay, I'm going to go teach myself for a couple months, and then I got the job. And I grew up with video games. I mean, yeah, everyone now grew up with video games too. But, I mean, back then, there were few jobs, but I happened to be in a place that had some. I moved to California after I graduated college, and there was a lot of game companies in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I was lucky, but I also worked at it and got a job because I thought, oh, this is really cool. I get to, like, use some of my computer skills, and I get to use my art skills, and I get to do animation, and I, eventually learned 3D and just did all this stuff. Like, I mean, it was really cool, and it wasn't the huge crowd that it is now. I mean, it was still a really early, like, thing that was just starting to take off. We had this we were making a game for this brand new device called the CD-ROM drive. They're now extinct because everyone can download stuff from the web. But back then, I mean, I'm just aging myself because we're talking about decades ago. But back when I got in, it was easy to get in, and it was still just, like, wide open, and it was really cool.
We are talking early, mid 90s?
Yeah, early 90s. So, something else?
Second part of the question. So if
second part of the question,
because yeah,
I'm older, but I've also, as I commented earlier, there's been 40,000 layoffs in the games industry in the last 3 years. The games industry, it used to be, I mentioned living in the San Francisco Bay Area, used to be, you lose a job here, you go next door, you get another job. There's all these companies here. That's not like that anymore. There's not all these companies here. They haven't even moved out of the, to somewhere else in the US. They've moved all the way out of the country altogether. But then they keep moving. It's like any time someone finds a place where they can get cheaper labor, they move the development to that place. So it's constantly trying to hit a moving target. But also, now we can use AI to replace people. Now we just lay everyone off anyhow. It doesn't matter, like, even if they're really good, we'll lay them off because we need to, keep feeding the CEOs. The industry is not very sustainable right now, and it's very hard to get jobs because, even if you try to apply as a junior level person, there's super senior level people who are applying for the same jobs because they're all desperate because they've been laid off. Would I recommend someone go into that right now? No, I wouldn't. I'd say do it as a hobby. It's so doable as a hobby right now. You can learn Godot, you can learn Unity, you can learn Twine. There's so many things that you can do. You can make a game by yourself. That's a doable thing. It certainly wasn't doable back in the 90s or 2000s that you could make a game yourself. Games only happened because companies would make them and then put them on a shelf. I'm simplifying because, I bought games as a kid where you, like, went to a cheap game store and, you bought a couple of floppy disks. But for the most part, like, you these days you can make a game yourself. There's tons of games, and there have been huge hit games that people have just made solo. I would say find a job that actually pays money, and if you're in America, pays healthcare, and then do games on the side. And that's a really cynical thing to say. I'm really sad to have to say that, because I really want games to be a sustainable career and something that people can put their lives' works into it. But that's not where it is right now. Will it turn around? Is the pendulum swinging? It hasn't started to yet. The last 3 years have just been layoff after layoff after layoff. I mean, Epic just said they're laying off 1,000 people because Fortnite is not doing as well as they would like to. Why do I stay in it? Because after doing it for 30 years, I have a resume that's nothing but game development, game development, game development. Like, I don't know who else will take me. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what else actually to do with my time. Could I go into graphic design? Possibly. I'm actually good at it. But if I were an art director hiring for graphic designer, do I go for the cheap person who's fresh out of college, who knows all the current tools, or that old guy over there who's mostly got game development in his resume and doesn't have graphic design as his main thing? So I don't know. I'm here just out of stubbornness and out of not knowing what else to do with myself.
I love how your answer is not completely, but very different to the previous ones, because they were all indie developers. So they each one's a different case, but kind of starting. But you come from way back, and your answer is not, I understand I am an indie, so this is my opinion. But you are like in both. You are in a studio at the same time you are indie, because you are doing making a video game for yourself. So,
and even my studio job, my day job, is an indie company. It's a bigger indie company than Travel Friendly Cake. There's more of us, but we're still just like, okay, we're just making this indie game. We're just kind of maybe we're a AA indie or a AAA indie, as opposed to a 2-person shoestring indie, which is what Puzzle Spy is. It's still an indie game, and I'm paid indie wages. I'm not, I'm not being paid like I was when I was in the mobile space. If our game does great, please buy it. Go buy Ledgerbound when it comes out. If it does great, then maybe we get to keep making them. Maybe I'll get something cool like healthcare. But that's not guaranteed either. But it's better than nothing. It's better than just driving an Uber? I don't know. I don't want to talk down to anyone who's driving an Uber. I'm just saying, it's better than not working.
Next question was going to be, did you study the game development or you self-taught? But you already, I think you covered.
There was. I'll touch on it anyhow. Back when I got in the industry, there was no studying the game industry. There weren't courses. There was no Full Sail. There was no SCAD. There was no place you could study it. You just learned on the job. And so I've got to where I have by just having jobs for years. But it was, you had to either be self-taught or just learn on the job. There's a lot more options these days, and that's definitely a plus. Like, you don't have to go to those schools. You don't have to get a job. You got internet tutorials. You get Discords where people will show you, here's where your code is a little bit wrong. Like there's great opportunities now. But back when I joined the industry, there was no way to you got a job and then you learned how to do things.
Mm-hmm. As an indie developer with Travel Friendly Cake, is this your first game?
This is the first game that I've ever put out as an indie developer. Yeah, I mean, I've done tons of bigger games. This is my first indie game, like real indie game. Yeah, and it's been a learning experience.
This one's also a little bit hard for me to ask, because it's what motivated you to develop Puzzle Spy International, but maybe it assumes, now I'm realizing, maybe it assumes that you weren't doing games before. So what made you do the click between not doing games and making a game?
I think it's just as valid a question. It doesn't matter where you come from. Like, what made you want to do this game? So I got laid off of my last job, Christmas of 2022. Lovely time to get laid off of job. It said, "Oh, sorry, we're letting you go. Happy Christmas." And I spent about a year and a half job hunting after that. Because again, excuse me for 1 second. Talia would like to know if she can join us.
Yeah.
And I'm
Absolutely.
going to let her know yes. Anyhow, so I got laid off and spent about a year and a half looking for a job before I found OmniMega Supercorp. But about halfway through that period, I'm like, I am so tired of applying for jobs and not even hearing back or anything like that, or going on interviews and, nothing really came of them. And I'm not making a game. And that's what I want to do, is I'm a game developer. I want to make a game. So about halfway through this period, I said, screw it. Even though I don't have a job, we're going to start working on a game. And we had actually started working on Puzzle Spy years before. We probably started it in 2019, this idea of let's take these puzzles and let's write this whole spy story. We had already made the puzzles as paper puzzles that we could hand out to people and have them test it at home, not on a computer at all, just like, here's a piece of paper, see if you can cut these pieces out and test the puzzles. So we had already started working on Puzzle Spy, and then we said, let's start doing that, because I'm going bored out of my mind not making a game. And that's why we started working on Puzzle Spy. And I'd like to introduce folks to Talia, who is finishing
Hello.
tonight. Okay.
You are both using the same microphone, I realize.
Yes,
Okay.
we are.
Yes.
Okay.
You wanna-
Welcome, Talia. I need to change the label because you are now two. Talia, to welcome you on the stream, I have a couple of questions, maybe. Which is the first video game? We were talking about socks, so don't worry too much. First video game that you played ever?
First, what?
Video game that you
Video
played.
game. I tend more towards Sudoku, Candy Crush.
It's fine. It's fine.
Not the same level of video game-ness that.
And the second question is, different color socks, yes or no? This is very important to know.
At the same time,
Yes.
I don't usually, but I would.
Okay. You are safe. You are safe for now.
You get voted off the island if you answer that one wrong. I just skimmed by.
We started talking with Mike a little bit, aside from the silly initial questions, about you as developers and what led you, everything that happened before you started or before you finished and released Puzzle Spy International.
Mhm.
And my next question is, so you answer, Mike, what motivated you to make Puzzle Spy International? How long did it take to make? You started in 2019, you said.
Well,
Yeah, that's when I think we started putting together the paper puzzles and testing them, roughly.
but we didn't work the whole time.
Yeah, it isn't like we've been working for 7 years on this. We started with paper. We started with the idea. We started brainstorming ideas for a story, like what kind of story would wrap up a bunch of puzzles. We landed on the spy story. We started brainstorming the spy story. We came up with some puzzles, some of which were adapted by a friend of ours named Jay, who had done some puzzle designs and had a ton of puzzles. And we said, can we borrow and adapt some of those puzzles? So some of Jay's puzzles are in the game. And then we just kind of put it aside for a while.
Well, the story we came up with was way bigger than we could do. We had 40 puzzles.
It was like a 40 to 45 puzzle game.
It was huge, and we realized that was way out of our scope, and so we put it aside because we couldn't do that game.
It was like we looked at it and said, "This would take us 10 years to make this game, and we don't want to spend 10 years making this game." So we put it aside, started working on a totally different game until it too got way out of scope, and we realized we couldn't make that. And we came back to Puzzle Spy, and I said, "What if we just chop Puzzle Spy? What if we just do a fifth of it? We just do like 8 puzzles." And we said, "Oh, that's doable." And we already have, we've already tested half the puzzles. We're already halfway there. So we chopped the puzzle into a fifth. We started working on that, and that was Puzzle Spy until we got to last fall. We had pretty much finished all 8 of those puzzles and the whole story, and we said, this ending sucks.
It was unsatisfying.
It was the original story, had this whole arc and came to this fun conclusion, and all of that conclusion, all of that kind of fun stuff had ended up on the cutting room floor. And we just kind of arbitrarily said, okay, the story ends here. You caught up to the bad guys, you beat them, you're done. And we said, can we bring back that cool ending? Can we bring back the enemy base? And can we bring back a threat to the world and a big puzzle to try to stop them? And so we kind of, even though we finished the game in fall, we said, how much more could we add to that without doubling the scope of the project with we could probably do that with 3 more puzzles, I think is the calculation we did. But 3 more puzzles?
Worth
it. Let's do it. And the whole end of the story is because we decided to do it. And we think it's a much better story because of it. And we hope other people do too. I mean, it's a lot more, I think we thought a lot more satisfying now, the ending of the story and what you do at the end of it. So that's the new game has 11 puzzles and is more satisfying.
Maybe I'm taking a question from the future, but it takes what you just mentioned. It takes narrative skill to adapt and bring this climax at the end. But you didn't mention you have that skill. So it comes with the trade, or you became good during this from 19 to 26? How did you?
We both were English majors way back when we were in college. So we both think that we know how to write a little bit.
We're not super experienced writers. We know enough to say, yeah, this isn't satisfying. What can we do to fix it? So, I mean, we now are experienced. I mean, we both co-wrote Puzzle Spy. So, there's a credit to our names. We're not totally inexperienced.
That's good. That's good. I didn't know about that. So, next 2 questions for the last for this second block. I'll ask them together because they might be related, and they are a little bit more towards those who are indie developers now that they are currently making a game or they are deciding to jump into the industry. So 2 questions. They are different, but you can answer together or separate as you wish. What's the most important lesson that you've learned by making Puzzle Spy International? And second question, or not a question, but a note, which is your best advice for these aspiring developers?
I'd say what was the first one again? Is
what's the most important lesson that you've learned while making Puzzle Spy International?
I think we basically were just touching on it, and that scope is not trying to bite off more than you can reasonably chew. And we, clearly we had an earlier version of Puzzle Spy that was 40 puzzles long, and then we chopped it down to 8, and that was doable. And when we made it 11 puzzles, we said, we're going to do this in a very contained way that it doesn't get out of control. We just need 3 more puzzles. We already know what one of them is. Like we did it in a very, it wasn't feature creep. It was, let's make a concerted effort to do this. But all of it was done with the mind of what is doable by us as a 2-person team with 1 person in school full time, with our very limited ability to do stuff. Just keeping in mind, if you've got a feature, like throw it out, put it in the next game. Like just constantly keep in mind to scope and what is actually doable by your team. Don't try to just do everything.
I would say also that there is a place for the weird stuff. Our game is kind of niche. It's not going to appeal to everybody, and yet we're getting interest in it. So don't be afraid to try something that's different.
Actually, in the indie developer, the indie gaming environment or industry, I appreciate that games are different. Actually, I'm playing a lot, and even though they belong to the same genre, let's say Sokoban, because there are a ton of Sokoban games released in a year, each one is different because each developer, they have this crazy idea and they turn it into a Sokoban, and they are within the same genre. One that is not into the scene, let's say Sokoban, they wouldn't believe the amount of interesting things, like ideas, and some not all work, but like it's like 90%. They are very interesting games because they are different. If I was going to play the same, yes, it's pushing things, but it's pushing things, and which is like kind of the hook. They need to have an anchor. They have the hook. The hook is always a different hook. So I agree. They not to be afraid of doing something weird, strange, that it's not the trend, that it's not what's selling. So I agree. This would be the end of second block, which is about you. Yes, Mike?
Actually, I want to toss out one other thing, because you were also asking for advice. I mean, Talia gave the advice, but
yes.
I want to give an advice too. Is find people. Like, I don't mean find people for your team, but find support. There's no reason to do it alone, and I don't think a lot of this would have happened. I mean, we were supporting each other, but I'm on a Discord with a whole group of local Bay Area developers, and we all hang out. We get together in person. We all hang out and do co-working every Monday night. There's a Discord there. Whenever I have questions, I've got friends who are there online. I'm also on tons of other Discords that are just for very specific skills, like just RenPy development, because Puzzle Spy was done in RenPy. I'm in other ones for certain other kinds of games, but there's no reason for anyone to go it alone. Find people who can be a support structure for you, and it'll just be a lot easier just mentally to go do games. If you're doing your Sokobans, then go to Thinky Puzzle Games Discord. If you're doing a different kind of detective games, go to Thinky Games. Go to find your local writers groups, find your local indie groups. There's got to be other people near you making indie games. Like, find those communities, and being part of a community is just such a help. I mean, it's helped me, but just mentally, just having other people I can say, "Ah!" and then people are like, okay, here, let's talk it out. But even from different things, like I had someone walking me through, how do I set up a depot on Steam? And it's like someone on Saturday night, it's like, yeah, I'm here, let's get on Discord and I'll walk you through it. It's like just having this community of other people, whether you just go to GDC and meet people there, or go to your local co-working group, or just find a Discord of people around the world. Like, find people, and it'll just really help you. It'll help your mental state, it'll help your game, and it'll help you not feel like you're just pushing a rock up a hill alone.
And I couldn't agree more. Even in this current environment, where I imagine someone who, let's say, I know programming, I can draw, but I don't know how to make music. So, do you think the new generation of developers, the younger ones, the first thing they would think is, oh, if I can't make it myself, let's leave it to the AI, which is like the easiest route they can take. So this advice, I couldn't agree more. Like, if you don't know how to do something, seek help, find someone, talk to people, instead of first solution immediately like, oh, I'll do it myself with the AI that knows how to do almost anything. So, very true.
It's no one. I mean, there's a handful of people out there who can do everything. They're amazing artists, they're amazing programmers, they're amazing writers and can do everything. But that's not most people. That's not us. We can't program. I mean, I can kind of hack things out in RenPy, but I never could have gotten all these puzzles where you're entering text into cards and clicking and dragging cards and slotting into place and testing. I was gonna get to the music, but like all of that, it's like, if I had to do that alone, some people say, if you can't program, you can't make indie games. It's like, we made this and we're not coders. I mean, I'm pretty savvy and I did a ton of stuff in RenPy myself, but it wouldn't have come to fruition if we hadn't had Cypher helping us with all the coding. Similarly, Alex, who did all the music, I just met him through a local Discord. It was just like, he's like, I really want to get my name out there and do more games. And so I would love to do the music for your game for you. And we hung out at a local Starbucks and talked. And it turned out that Alex lives a block away from us. So it's very locally sourced music. And Alex and I have become big friends, and we hang out and we go to a lot of game development stuff together. Our programmer is in Puerto Rico and we're in California, so we've never met him before, and I don't know if that will ever happen. Alex happens to be local, but I wouldn't have met him if I hadn't been in local Discords talking about my game, and someone said, hey, I would love to help out there. So you don't have to do everything yourself. Find other people. I stumbled upon a thread on Blue Sky last week where someone was criticizing people for using AI for voice acting. We don't have any, sadly, voice acting in Puzzle Spy. It's certainly a game that would lend itself to that. But the whole thread turned into, there's so many people out there who would love to do voice acting for free. And everyone was like, what? But that's something you get paid for. And so many people were like, no, but we want to get our names out there. We want the practice. If it's a story that excites us, we'd love to be involved in it. And it was just this whole ton of people in this thread saying, we'd love to help with voice acting. And it was like, who knew? But for anything, I mean, I know there's a whole thing about if you ask artists, hey, could you just do art for my game for free? There's going to be like, what? You're not going to pay me? There's certain ways to deal with that. You should pay people, but there are also people who want to support and do things without getting paid, or maybe in trade. I ended up doing the cover of Alex's jazz album. He did music for our game. I did his album cover. Like there was definitely a barter system involved with some of the stuff that we did for Puzzle Spy. But there's other people out there who have skills you don't, and if you're not taking advantage of them, if you can come from it from a place of respect and what you can share, there's ways to make that work.
So you paid him in album covers.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a good time to start the game block.
Okay,
so we can talk over images of the game, and what I'll do is start with the demo. I've already played the demo. Maybe I don't remember everything, but we'll talk about. It'll be the excuse to talk about what the music, the story, and the art, and everything. If I see that the demo, I solved it, we'll start with the game, and we'll get to the first puzzle. Maybe. I'm super slow, so if you want that, cross your fingers and everything that you can cross. Not me, don't cross me. And we don't get further than that. I don't want to spoil anything. So let's move to here, and I'll have to adapt a little bit the camera. That's fine. Oh no, no need to move. I can adapt. I can do magic. The magic of the stream. Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully this time music is recorded properly, so I can tweak it after the stream. Don't worry about the blinking, it'll get steady. First I need to lower the music, so I go preferences. Preferences? Thank you.
Preferences.
Music. Music and sound. Sound is like sound effects?
Yeah.
I'll leave them there.
Sure. There's not that much.
I want some music, but when we talk about the music, maybe I put it a little bit higher. Okay. So you kind of described Puzzle Spy International at the beginning, but I wish you to do it again, like the elevator pitch, and some way that if you say, this is something that I've been thinking, if you say this is like 60s spy movie turned into a game, I'm thinking someone who was born after the year 2000 thinking, oh, I haven't seen any of those movies. If you say it's like anything, something that I can't put an anchor to it, so I'll let you describe the game for everyone and these people in particular. I'll make that note later. Maybe that helps.
Well, even if you haven't seen movies from the 50s or 60s, James Bond is eternal. James Bond, there's always a new James Bond, no matter what decade you live in or were born in. And definitely James Bond was a huge influence on this. But James Bond, definitely his movies started in the 60s, and 60s had a lot of other spy films. It had The Prisoner on TV. And we just decided once we were doing a spy, we kind of just loved the idea of making it in the 50s and 60s. Partially just because that was classic James Bond, partially because we didn't have to deal with all the high-tech technology, and partially because I just love the artwork from that period. It's not normally what I draw. I don't only draw mid-century modern stuff, but I was super excited about, I want to draw, like if we're making it in the 50s or 60s, I want to do art from that time period. And so it's very much like 1960s spy adventure, but replace no gunfights, no violence, nothing that hurts anyone. Replace it all with puzzles. Thinky wordplay puzzles.
I like that. It's spy movie without the fighting, replaced with puzzles. I think that's perfect description. But yes and no. James Bond movies from last decade, I find, or maybe because I have broader knowledge about the saga or the character or the type of movies, they are different from what they used to be in the 60s, 70s, and it's natural that they evolve. So if you say it's like James Bond movie, they would get, this younger generation, they would get, I think, the wrong impression. And I've been thinking, yes, you say?
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Sorry. And I've been thinking, if I were you, how I would describe, and I don't know because I didn't make the game, so I don't know everything, what's the game about, or everything that's in the game. But from an external position, I would say it would be like a Professor Layton but with a spy theme, and that would help them. Like you have a cartoon characters, and you have a story, but kind of the story and the puzzles, they don't have to mechanically be together. Like there's the story, and there's story bits, and there's puzzles, and like Professor Layton, they kind of like an excuse. Sometimes the story is a little bit forced to make you do a puzzle about cars crossing bridges, for example. How true would be that statement? It's Professor Layton, but with spy theme. I want to think they know Professor Layton at least.
I think that's totally a fair comparison. I mean, Professor Layton is probably one of the closest things that Puzzle Spy to what Puzzle Spy is. We've tried to make the puzzles and the story fit together. They're not just arbitrarily, here's a story, and then arbitrarily here's a puzzle. We've tried to make them mesh together. That was the whole point of adding a story, is to try to have a reason that things are there and why people are using. There's even an in-world, I don't want to spoil anything, there's an in-world explanation for why are the bad guys leaving puzzles. We talk about that, and I won't tell you why, but we thought of that, and it's in there.
I stopped on this screen because there's something I want to point out, and it's very interesting, very important even, I think. And it says that it's also a lot of fun to play with friends. I have to say, maybe, I don't know if I've said this before, but I'll acknowledge it here now, live, that if I had to choose a live stream where I had the most fun, I would be very confident that it was that day that I was playing Puzzle Spy International with the chat, because, and I want you to explain to me the science behind that, because I want to know. I had a lot of fun, while at the same time, I knew nothing of what I had to do. I had zero knowledge of. I had the puzzle in front of me. It looked simple. I didn't know what to do. And I started looking for ways to tackle it, like, is it asking for this or for that? And then there was the chat who, thanks, I wasn't alone. They didn't know much because I thought it was a me thing. And I'll explain later why I think it's a me thing, because it's like a language issue. It wasn't. It's not because I'm not native English speaker. So why is it this game so much more fun played with others? What's happening? Because it's a single player game.
I think it helps reduce the frustration level, because you have multiple brains who know different things and who will see different ways in. So it makes it, you get the aha from yourself and also from other people, and together it makes it more fun. It doesn't all have to come from you, and you get less stuck.
Yeah.
I think it's important, this. It looks like it's almost irrelevant. Like, why would you? But I think it's very important to note, or in your communication, your marketing, however you do it. But for me, it's like totally different experience to play by yourself than to play with others. It's like a board game or party game. It's like, yes, I can do it myself. Excuse me. But it's a much better experience if you share it.
Yeah, it's like couch co-op, only doing puzzles. And I've mentioned this on the stream already, but like Talia and I don't do puzzles by ourselves much. I mean, Talia will do Sudokus by herself, but we love sitting down and doing either Puzzle Pint, if you're keeping track of how many times we're mentioning Puzzle Pint tonight, or, when we play Type Help or Blueprints or whatever. We love doing puzzle games together because we'll both bounce ideas off of each other. We'll talk about strategies. What room do we want to choose next for Blueprints? We'll notice, we'll know things that the other person didn't know. And when we started testing it, we weren't even thinking of that as much. We actually figured out one person will sit down to play this. But one of the first places we did a live test of the demo, we had one person sit down, and she brought a few friends, and then a few more people gathered around, and pretty soon everyone was like, oh, wait, I know that one. Oh, wait, I think that one is that one. Oh, wait, what if it's this? And it was just everyone was kind of bouncing around ideas. And like Tully said, it's just everyone is sharing these aha moments, and it becomes this big fun group thing. And so we really wanted to just encourage people to do that because we think it reduces frustration, and it's fun. It's fun.
We have also choices matter. Give a friendly
I wouldn't
greeting.
say the choices matter that much.
A little bit.
Are they like is the story branching from here, or is it more like, which is also possible? I didn't understood at the beginning when I found first game that did this. Like, no, you have an option, but it doesn't change the story. It changes in within the player. Within the player, it's like I'm role playing, and in my mind, I'm choosing what my character I want to say. Is it more like that? Okay. This is a concept that. Yep. Go ahead.
You're charting your own path through it, but you're still going to get to the same ending. It's not a branching story, but you get to choose. How do I want my version of this character to be?
I would choose first. It's more like me, but let's spice up the stream. And I said in the beginning, this is first for the channel. It's a special game. So my question might be very easy. What makes Puzzle PSI different from others? I think it's very different, so it's very easy in your case.
One is that there's not a lot of wordplay games out there. It's the kind of puzzles we're doing, like there's not a ton of wordplay puzzles, number one. Number two, the fact that it's not a lot of puzzle games, a lot of games, period. Here's a mechanic, and we're going to keep building on this mechanic. And we're just like, okay, you've played a puzzle. Too bad. The next puzzle is going to be something totally different. Is that a good idea? A bad idea? You're not building on anything. On the other hand, there's a lot of variety. It's much more like the Puzzle Pints that we've enjoyed playing, but it's not a common feature in most video games. And I think the art helps it stand out in that there's not a lot of games that are referencing the 1950s and 60s in terms of visual style. We're not the only ones, but it's not a common aesthetic in games, and especially puzzle games, especially as so many are just, hey, there's little blocks being pushed around. You don't get a lot of puzzle games with just this fun illustrative side, and we really wanted to push that a lot too.
How do you pronounce the name of this guy?
You in Danger.
I thought so, because you know the actor Ewan McGregor. I don't know how to pronounce, because it's I think it's originally Irish, and Irish names. Actually, my name is originally Irish. I think so. But they are pronunciation. If English is weird and strange, it's nothing compared to Irish names. And when I learned about this actor, this is totally unrelated to the game. When I learned about this, and I met in movies this actor Ewan McGregor, in Spain it's pronounced one way that it's not. It's completely wrong. So everybody says the same. Everybody acknowledges this. It's a tolerance to the ignorance because nobody knows, so we accept it. So it would be Ewan. And then a few years back, here in Australia, for no reason, I heard it, found out that it's like you won. It's like, what makes the E be a U? It's like, it doesn't make sense. It's like, why?
We're not here to defend the language. You just like the pun.
Yeah. But It's kind of like, I think you want to, because I'm not, as I said, I'm not a native English speaker. I think there's something here, but I'm not understanding. It's not getting to me. And actually, yep.
If you think of EW as in the word grew, GREW, you pronounce that grew. And so if you take off the GR, it's ew. Duin with danger. But what makes it you, you're asking? I don't know what makes it you.
You can't reason Irish.
Nope.
I
thought I was going further with that. It didn't get anywhere.
No. I have what inspired. I'm skipping a few because you already answered. What inspired Puzzle Spy International? You said the movies and Puzzle Paint. Oh, this is not a choice. Also, about the story, you said it was much larger, then you reduced it, and then you adapted. Also about the mechanics, I think maybe we are done with the interview. Nah, just joking. Mechanics, you don't have mechanics, you have a variety of puzzles. So I'm thinking, how would the player feel with not development, but if it's a totally different experience? Whoever comes to Puzzle Spy International, they shouldn't have any expectations, right?
Well, it's sort of the nature of the rule. What's it called? Discovery. Rule discovery games. Is that we don't really tell you what to do or how to solve the puzzle. And part of the puzzle is figuring out how to solve the puzzle. So it doesn't lead to doing the same puzzle over and over again because you figured out how to solve it. So now we need to go on to something different that you haven't learned how to solve and make that be part of the next puzzle. How do you solve the next one?
Yeah. So that all through the game you're getting this aha of, oh, I figured out what I'm supposed to do. And some people have criticized it and said, I wish you told me more about what I'm supposed to do. And we have the hints in there for that, but we didn't want to take away the thrill of people who like puzzles, the aha of, oh, I understand how this fits together. I understand what I'm supposed to do. Like some people might have wanted a little more hand-holding. We specifically opted for less hand-holding with a bunch of optional hints and error checking because we wanted to give people the reward of that aha moment of figuring out what to do.
But we also don't want people to get so frustrated that they give up. So we wanted to have a pretty robust hint system available. So if you can't figure out what's going on, you don't get stuck. You get to still play or move on to the next puzzle, which might be more your speed.
So regarding that, how do you balance difficulty? And a follow-up question, is there a hint system that you implemented? But allow me to remove myself. I'll answer that question, the second question, because if I can show the screen of the game completely without me, there's a hint system over there where I used to be in the image in the screen. So there is a hint system. So I'll come back.
There's both hint system and the hints for every puzzle in the game start from very broad to here's how to think about maybe approaching it. We don't want to just spit it all out. It's like here's how to think about it. Here's how to get a little further. Here's something you might have missed. Where it's appropriate, we've given what we call per line hints, where there's a hint for every single, you have 17 lines there, you have 17 groups of 3, and then another column of 17 groups of 3. If you keep clicking on hints, we eventually will give you one hint for every single line. So 17 times 2, like that. And all the way up to the end to we'll just tell you the answer. If you're so stuck that you can't go forward at all, we'll tell you the answer. But one of the things that the demo does not have, which we've also since added to the game, is an error checker toggle, where you can just turn that on and it'll put X's next to the ones that you've answered wrong and check marks next to the one you've answered right. Some people will be like, I'm not touching that at all. I want to do it completely clean. I don't want any hints. I don't want any error checking. And other people are like, I don't want the hints, but I just want you to tell me if this answer is right. It's right. I'm on the right track. Terrific. And some people will want all of that. And, you know, how we balanced it is giving as much their, you know, the whole hint system, the error checking system, it's there for whoever wants to use it. We don't track use of it. We don't ding you points. We don't say, sorry, you have to wait 3 minutes for us to be able to give you another hint. It's like it's there. If you want to use it, great. If you don't want to use it, great. Like we think all the puzzles are solvable without them, but everyone comes to it from different standpoints. Some people will need all the hints. I've seen some people solve this in ridiculous speed, and I don't know if they needed hints at all, but I suspect that some of the people who have already finished the game are like, yeah, I didn't need any hints. That was way too easy. So, you know, everyone comes at it from somewhere different.
Usually, games are set or designed in a way that they pose a challenge, and that's designed by the developer. So that is the difficulty. And then a player with this level of skill and this and this and this and this, and also from below, they'll come to the game even with the same difficulty. They'll find harder or easier the challenge. It depends on the player. So you can't design for everyone. You do your level of difficulty, and then they have kind of like this feedback. Oh, this is too easy. This is not. Did you design this in a way as probably you just answered like, no, we don't work this way. You made it the hardest, and then with the hint system, you are meeting like, this is the hardest, and this is our the most skilled player. So everyone who is below this level of difficulty will use the hint system, and then when they meet the hint that matches their level, then they can continue. So it's always meeting this the level of skill of the player. I don't know if maybe I'm not.
I think it's close to right. I mean, we've gotten to be more capable puzzle solvers as we've done more puzzles, and so we have a better understanding of how to approach a puzzle, and these are all puzzles that we would find a fun challenge. There are people who are way better puzzlers than we are and do some really wildly difficult puzzles that we would never want to try. So we're not the hardest level puzzlers out there, but also there's a lot of level, puzzlers that they have less experience. When we started, these would have been a lot harder for us.
Yeah, like when we started bringing our friend Scott to puzzle events at the beginning, we're like, okay, well, let's start doing this. He's like, how do you know to do that? You've never seen this puzzle before. But you start seeing patterns. You start seeing things that even though you've never seen a puzzle before, you've seen enough other puzzles that you kind of have an idea to how to approach them. So, if we had never seen this puzzle before, we'd look at a line and say, okay, big, candy, and rotten. Those are all together for a reason. There's got to be a reason that those are together. They wouldn't just, it's not just random words. There's got to be something, and let's start thinking about what is the connection between those. And, I've got something blocking the screen, so I can't see what's next to that. Sorry, I'm going to lean in for a second. Let's see. And then bitter blood navel. There's got to be a connection of those. And so some people will come at it with just a sense of, okay, I've never seen this puzzle, but I've seen something like it. Let's start thinking about why they're there. It's not random. And you start kind of going through things that you have seen before. Maybe there's a word. Maybe there's a brand name products that all have those words in them. Maybe there's song lyrics. Maybe all the words can be reversed. Like I'm not saying that these are the answers to this one, but you start seeing things over and over again, and you start kind of coming at it with a curiosity of what could be the connection here. And
we notice patterns like, oh look, this one has 26 lines. There's 26 letters in the alphabet. I bet there's a connection that you might need to use these to solve an alphabet.
Yeah. There's certain things that you see that just as you start seeing more puzzles, you start getting a feel for, okay, I've been dumped into the middle of the pool without a paddle, but I can start figuring that everything is here for a reason, and it's all pointing me there. And some people are like, oh, I need a paddle, it's too much, just give me a hint. And other people are like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and think of it. I'm not saying one approach is better than the other, but coming at any of them with a sense of curiosity and a sense of what is this trying to tell me? Because nothing's there accidentally. There's not they just threw some words in there and maybe they'll figure it out. It's like it's all very intentional. And at a certain point, you also have to trust the puzzle maker that it's okay. They did this for a reason. There's a reason that this one has a map in the background, or that some of those words are capitalized. Is that just total? Did they just mistype? No, there's a reason that some of these are capitalized, but figuring out the puzzle is part of putting it all together.
For those who don't know, this puzzle is the only one in the demo. So we'll stay in this screen just if someone's wondering. This is the demo, and this puzzle is the demo with the story bit at the beginning and afterwards, after you solve this. And this puzzle is not included in the game. So even if would you say you can play the demo even if you've played the game and beat the game? You can.
Totally separate.
There's no issue with the story. Like, this is not relevant now. Okay. Good to know. So
chronologically, this is the mission that she does right before she goes and does this. Is the reason this is called Prelude and Demo is because this is the mission that she does right before she goes to Rome, which is the start of the actual story in the game. But it doesn't matter. It's like a James Bond thing. If you watch them out of order, again, not the new James Bond, the old James Bonds, they're all self-contained and you can watch them in any order. The newer ones with Daniel Craig, you probably have to watch them in order. But the older ones, it's like, here's a spy adventure, here's another spy adventure. You can do this one afterwards, and it doesn't affect anything.
This error check mark or spoiler if you make a mistake, it's not on the demo, or is it in the demo?
It's not in the demo. We added it to the game after we had finished the demo and realized that would be. Originally, we had it as just one of the hints was, hey, let's check your answers for you. And then some people would got that hint and say, can we turn this off? Like, now that I know this answer is right, I kind of want to turn that off. And then once we added let's add a turn off that button. Oh, maybe we should just have this enabled all the time. And we got a lot of great feedback of like, yes, have that available all the time, please. So that was a later addition that after we worked on the demo.
When I played the demo, it was the first time I've seen this screen. So I was very lost. And it's as you've described, like, let's, instead of tackle everything at once, like I usually do with spatial puzzle games where you have a character and you move through an environment, I look at the whole thing and then start thinking of if it's a pathfinding game, like draw things in my head, but seeing as global, not as localized problems. It's different here. So it's rule discovery first. Why do they have these numbers? Each one is for each, and then little by little bit picking and then separating the information. It's more doing it more digestible. I played the demo and I don't remember. I remember they have common words like hairpin, kingpin, safety pin. They have the pin is the commonality, but does it go here or does it go in the middle? Because it's 3 letters, I am missing one. But apple, which is big apple, apple candy, or rotten apple, it doesn't fit in here. And this is the issue that, or not the issue, or maybe the issue, maybe the situation where I found myself is like, I'm thinking, maybe because it's a word game and English is not my first language, how do you feel the game performing? Because is language a barrier? Do you... I'll ask that, and then, because I have different questions about this idea. Like, are you hoping to translate the game? Maybe it doesn't make sense. How do you feel about that?
Translation. It is a very, very English language-centric game. And we'll just be right up front about that. It is very much based on English, and it is going to be a lot easier for a native English speaker. It's probably going to be easier still for an American, even though Agent Epsilon is British. We're American. We bring our own language biases to the game with us, and so it'll be even easier for an English language speaker than a British native speaker, and that's easier. This game is not translatable. I mean, you would have to redesign every single puzzle from scratch to put it into French or Spanish or Chinese. You would have to completely redesign several puzzles. We've had people say, could we translate it into Chinese? It's like, it's not a matter of just taking Agent Epsilon's dialogue and making it into another language. Every single game is so language driven that you'd literally be just making a whole new game.
And language is a barrier. But interestingly, even with native English speakers, not everybody has the same experience or knowledge of phrases or common sayings or
idioms or history or just
right. So
or just things.
Things, right. So what one person will find very easy, another person will find very difficult, even among native speakers. But I think for non-native speakers, it definitely increases the challenge level.
Like you were saying before, line 4, Big Apple, Candy Apple, Rotten Apple. Big Apple, if you don't know that's a nickname for New York City, you may be like, you may never get that one because it's like, oh, I've never heard Big Apple. Like, what is that? But if people are familiar with that's, one of the biggest cities in the world and that's its nickname, the Big Apple. Why is it called the Big Apple? I have no idea. But it's at least in the US, but I think other people have heard that expression before, the Big Apple.
I know why.
Why? I actually don't know.
Bit of trivia here.
Oh, please.
A long time ago, cities were called apples. They were just like all of the cities they were just referred to. It was like a slang.
Okay.
A slang that like was apple, but there was one that was big, the big city, and that was the Big Apple.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. So anyhow,
didn't know that either. So,
and this is the thing: when people come to this puzzle, they know different things,
and that's why it's great to have do it with 5 friends, because someone's gonna know what Big Apple means and someone isn't.
Even within this puzzle, there are like different levels of difficulty, because maybe 1 to out of 17 10, but the other 7 they are hard level for the same person. So even if you know the rule, maybe you don't have in you the knowledge to make these connections. And
well, that's why we did the per line hints, so that if you're stuck on a few of them, it will give you a chance to give you a little extra support.
Yeah.
maybe you don't know Big Apple, but you know the other two, and then you extrapolate the knowledge to. So I think it's pin in here, like it matches pin, hairpin, kingpin, safety pin, but it's also here. I read it somewhere, like
hairpin, kingpin, and safety pin. Yeah,
those are all pins.
Those are all pins.
Where did I read? Hairpin here. Hairpin, number 10. Also. About.
Oh, we do have hairpin.
We do have hairpin down there. Huh. It's a hint.
And does it go in the center? Do they have to? They have the last part and the final part in common. You said there are 11 in the game. 11 puzzles.
11 puzzles total, not counting this one. This is the 12th puzzle, or 0th puzzle if you're doing it chronologically.
Did you try to measure how long the game takes to finish?
It is
because it's so relative.
It's so different. I actually, people are actually, now that the game is live, people are actually solving it a little faster than we expected. We had originally estimated a little longer time, but some people are reporting it's like, oh, it's taking us like a little over 2 hours to finish. So, we've updated our Steam page to say 2 to 7 hours. It really depends on how you come into it. And if you're like, you've done tons of these puzzles and you're instantly looking at that and say, oh, I know what I'm supposed to do there. And start entering words. And other people are going to be, I'm going to stare at this for a while and try to figure out what's expected of me. So, there's a range. There's some people will solve this game in a ridiculously short amount of time. And some people will take their time. And again, it's okay. We've tried to tell you what we think the range is.
I think if we were faced with this game for the first time without knowing the puzzles, it would take us longer than 2 hours.
Absolutely. I think we'd be on the 4 to 5 range, I think. But we would also take our time to read all of the dialogue in the game. Some people are like, skip, just get me to the next puzzle too. Again, you can do that, and that may contribute to having a short amount of time in the puzzle. We would totally read all the lines.
Yeah.
Which engine is the game made on?
It's in RenPy, which is a visual novel engine.
A visual novel engine. I didn't know that existed.
Oh yeah, a ton of visual novels are made in RenPy. It's an offspring of Python that is custom made just to make visual novels. So a ton of different things that are visual novels from, I'm trying to think of some examples, but anyhow, a bunch of them are all done in RenPy. It's really just custom made to do that. So to pick up RenPy just to get Agent Epsilon and You in Danger talking, took me no time at all to learn. That's what it's built for. To do all this stuff where we have custom text and things popping up and things you drag around and it's checking your text, like that is all stuff that you can extend the engine to do, but it's not like easy. It's not instant. It's stuff that we had to have a programmer do.
It's like now that you say it, it makes sense because it's like RPG Maker. There are so many RPGs that we made an engine specifically to make this. Forget about lighting and something that you don't need. So you don't need to use this or the engine that comes with things that you're not going to use. And they overload and then they make the game heavier and occupy more space. And you don't need all that. Take this. So with so many visual novels that I've seen that they are published every year, it makes sense that there's something specifically for them.
Yeah. And there's great communities on the web of people who are all using RenPy. It's a heavily used engine. So I was very active in both the RenPy Discord and another Discord called DevTalk, which is all just about people doing any kind of visual novels, but it's very Ren'Py heavy because Ren'Py has such a large footprint in that area that anytime I had a question of, how do I do this in Ren'Py, go to one of those forums and someone would be able to answer, like, oh, here's where your code is not working, you need to do this or that. Or from a general standpoint, oh yeah, this is how you might approach that. It's, again, rely on those communities who know how to do what you want to do and make friends there.
Something that's very striking in the for this game is the aesthetic, the art. So you made the art. You said the story is based on 60s spy movies, the story, but is it the art as well? Is from that era? And how did you come up with this look?
Yeah, the character design is really based on the aesthetic of what's called mid-century modern, which is the kind of illustration and animation style that was done in the 50s and 60s. One of the big studios around at that time was UPA Studios. They did Mr. Magoo and Gerald McBoing. They were a studio that was around in the 40s and 50s. And then moving on into Walt Disney, like when you look at things, especially earlier Walt Disney's, like 101 Dalmatians, I think was also a big influence. But there was a lot of just a simpler, more kind of stylized approach to characters back then, and I really was trying to emulate that kind of style for all the character design and even the color palettes and things like that. The graphic design and package design of probably more the 60s worked its way into the UI. The UI, just a lot of large blocks, sometimes a little funky, is a little more 50s, like the blocks behind your two columns there are all kind of a little askew. That's a little more 50s, but kind of like the clean boxes on the sides and the fonts of history, skip, auto, etc. Very kind of 60s package design there. So really pulling exclusively from the 50s and 60s for just the whole aesthetic feel for the thing. And I put a little bit of paper texture on everything to make it feel like it was an illustration from that time period. I used the kind of brushes that are a little janky and not like this perfectly smooth. It's a little like you feel like it's a scratchy pen nib on a old piece of paper.
Did you had sketches before, or is it done straight onto? You said Ren'Py. Is it the name of the engine?
Ren'Py is the engine. Everything starts on paper. I did a lot of sketches on paper, scan them in, clean them up in Photoshop. I also used a bit of Procreate, which is a drawing program on the iPad. And then once you have those images, bring them into Ren'Py. And so there's a whole folder of Agent Epsilon's poses, from her happy, her sad, her thinking, her holding up a piece of paper, her celebrating. Like there's just a whole folder of here's all of Agent Epsilon's expressions. And anytime I want to have her talking, I say, oh, and now change to her angry pose. Now change to her happy pose. Now change to several other poses she has, and that Ren'Py makes that easy.
And animation is maybe not as much as an animation, but a transition between these poses made in Ren'Py.
It's not really animated. It just sort of snaps between those poses. It's not an animation.
Was it you asking on socials about the transition?
Yeah. Hang on for 1 second. How did you?
I was going to say that I need to get going, and I was wondering if you had any more questions that I could answer before I go, because most of this is now in his wheelhouse.
Tal's also getting over a cold, and she's had class tonight, so she needs a little bit more rest.
I think you both work together. You both know the project. I think Mike can answer for you, maybe. I don't know. I don't have specifically that. I don't know if you can only answer. I had one question that was, Mike said did the art. He did the art. If there was something that, like, you share tasks, something that it was only for you, like you did. I don't know. It's not. I know it's not the music, but for example, if you only did the music, something you can say. You worked everything together, right?
Everything that I contributed to the game, I did with Mike. So we wrote it together. We designed puzzles together. All of those pieces were very collaborative.
Okay. I won't hold you any longer.
All right. I've really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you. And I like having you.
Night, sweetie.
Good night.
Good night.
Anyhow.
So you did everything together, nothing, even...
There's nothing that she did solo. She's been, like, we totally collaborated on writing, totally collaborated on puzzle design, but then I did all the aesthetics. Because that's my thing. She's been in grad school and I haven't. So there's been kind of in the beginning we started it, we both had a lot of time, and then that became, I had a lot more time and she had a lot less time. But she's been in her grad school program now for almost 2 years.
So tell me about the music. Oh, yeah.
Did I answer everything about the art? She had to disappear in the middle of that, so I don't remember whether I answered everything.
You said you first design on paper and then you transfer it to Photoshop and clean and everything, and then you move it to Ren'Py. I have to think because I'm not familiar. I don't know why I keep thinking it's Renly, but it's not Renly. That's a name of a person. It's Ren'Py, and then there's no animation required, which is also something that it came to mind when you said you have to find people to work with and help you in your projects, or share in you. They help you, you help them in their project. But at the same time, I was thinking sometimes limitations, they bring the best of us, because we come up with solutions that maybe I don't know how to animate. Maybe I don't need to animate. So you come up with solutions to problems and you have to do it yourself. If you think, I don't know how to animate, let's find someone, then I have to pay them. Maybe you don't need. Think about it. Think if you really need what you think you need.
Yeah.
It's hard to know sometimes, but consider that option. So there are no animations and we have a story told in this game. So
I mean, there's a little bit of animations. There is a visual novel developer named Ingrid who shared a bit of code. So it used to be the characters would just slide on and slide off, because that's generally you tell Ren'Py, okay, bring a character on. And Ing had a little bit of code that she shared, which is you could say, while you're sliding them off, you can actually have them bounce up and down. So that's how all the characters, when they walk in, they kind of go boom, 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 and they kind of have a little walking motion. Like, it's not heavy animation, it's not real animation, but it was like, oh, that was kind of fun to put into the game.
I'm doing better than I thought I would, but I had to go to hint 5.
Okay.
Once I got to hint 5, I think this is my level. And I'm sure I don't know everything. There are some that I remember using the hint system up until the end, which it gives you... I'll get there just to show as an example. They give you like pictures, right? Little pictures.
Yeah. Just go hit a couple more hints in the hint menu, and it'll turn that on.
In case you need more help, now you have a hint button for each line.
It's fun to show that off. There you go. One more hint. And then
this is
now these are what we call the per line hints. If you need a hint just for nuts, the line to the left-hand side, you would click on that, and you would get a little picture that might give you a little hint. And again, it's not here is the answer. It's a hint. And so I've had some people say, oh, that totally solved it for me. And I've had other people say, what the hell is that? I don't even know what that is. That's not useful. But, maybe that is useful. What is that a picture of?
Everything that you say, it's me, because I've been through all these stages. I think there was something about a truck or an ambulance, something like that. I remember over here. And I was like, I ran out of hints and I still don't know. But it's me.
But like the one that you just got, like what that's a picture of.
Goober, you can.
I can't tell whether you got that one because my picture is blocking it.
Because I put you a little bit higher because of the dialogue before. I can bring you back. Like this. And Goober, you are welcome to give hints and participate. I would rather not type in the chat because then it makes the screen of the game disappear like this. So if every time I go in and out of the game to click because I have to manage the stream, it makes the screen blink. Yes, Mike.
Oh, anyhow, but what is that a picture of that you just did the reveal for?
It's an arrow.
An arrow. So
for me,
does that fit with the 3 words you have?
So it's plural. Now I know it's plural. So I wasn't wrong in here. Like, oh, I'm missing one, and it's telling me that in the center is always going to be and something.
Yep. Apples and oranges.
I was asking about the music, but as the interview, I call it interview for easy understanding, but it's more like a friendly chat. As we keep talking, I feel like the answer to everything is 60s spy movie, art 60s. Music, 60s. What's the art direction and design decision for everything? The 60s. So you said you didn't do the music, but someone else did, and you already explained that. What's your direction for them to have this music? What did you tell them?
So again, the composer for all the music is Alex Doty. And we basically, I dug up a bunch of references, and it was a lot of 60s stuff. We're talking about John Barry's score for the original James Bond movies, the famed, classic, like even the James Bond movies today have got to be using that, I would hope. John Barry, Henry Mancini, who wrote the Pink Panther, and a bunch of other movies from the 60s, just, again, a well-known composer from the time. And also looking at just kind of other 60s bands, 60s movies. Probably listened to a bit of Michael Giacchino's soundtrack for The Incredibles, because that had a very 50s and 60s inspired sound. But just kind of listening to the kind of sounds. And what is great about Alex is that Alex has just this wide range of what he does. He doesn't just I do one thing and only one thing. It's like I've heard Alex do orchestral stuff. I've heard him do techno stuff. I've heard him do stuff that is like totally riffing on Hans Zimmer. And he basically said, okay, cool, here's a neat challenge. What does 60s stuff have? 50s and 60s spy movies. They have guitar, like surf guitar. They've got bongos. They're using strings. There's like these bold use of horns. They're using and he's kind of deconstructing what are all these things that are very common in the soundtracks of the time. And so he's pulling it all together into kind of these recognizable, kind of pastiches of the music. So he's got, he plays guitar. So it's his guitar is on the soundtrack, and he got some other people doing live horns, and he added other stuff in there as well. There's a little bit of flute in there, and then he digitized strings. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that he did where he's just kind of deconstructing what kind of sounds they had in those soundtracks, and then putting them back together in his own style. And so we've got this soundtrack that really feels like it's a 1960s spy movie soundtrack. And we had a range of like, this one is like, here's the theme song for Agent Epsilon. So this is like going to be used on the title screen. It's going to be used in advertising. It's going to be the big recognizable like James Bond tune. And then like, if you were hearing music now, I can't hear a lot of the music coming through, but like we said, we need some music that you can think through. We call this the thinky music. Is you don't want loud and like, shut up, I'm just trying to solve a puzzle here. So it's like it had to be sneaky spy music that kind of got the whole mood across of you're thinking, you're solving, you're trying to crack the case, and it sounds spyish, but it kind of sits in the background and you can just kind of work over it and think and about how to solve a puzzle while you're listening to that music. And so that was our very specific, we want the music to be kind of shoved into the background a bit, like it's the quieter spy music, and that's what we call our thinky music, and that's what's in the background for this puzzle and most of the puzzles in the game. But there's other places, like there's some stuff in Paris. So he's like, oh, what would make Parisian spy music? So we started, again, deconstructing like what kind of instruments, what kind of tunes will make it feel more like Paris. Versus Algeria, we kind of wanted a little more, I found some more vocal influences and some Arabian music, and he found some instrumentation that, did I say Arabian? Arab, but not Arabian, there's a difference. But anyhow, like he started finding some music and instruments from Northern Africa that kind of fit the bill and like made it feel both still spy, but also kind of just a very different part of the world. So Alex did just all this cool stuff. Like there's a lot of different places, and he kind of captured this feeling of some of those places while keeping this just really cool spy music.
During the story, the different environments, they have different musics. For the puzzles, They are also different?
Most of the puzzles are the same thinky music. The music that we kind of want to just sit in the background and not interrupt you too much. There's a couple of puzzles. There's one puzzle that I not to spoil anything, it happens at a cafe. So instead of music, there's cafe ambiance. There's another puzzle that has different music, and I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you how it's different, but there is one puzzle that has subtly different music than the other puzzles for a very in-story reason. But we also didn't write like 100 tracks and say, let's make a different piece of music for every single puzzle and every single location. It's like, we wanted to be very judicious about how much time of Alex's we used. So we kind of prioritized, okay, here's the few pieces that we know we're going to use a lot. And let's kind of keep a limited track number.
I think we are at a point where it's a matter of making the connections, but the rule has been discovered.
Yeah.
So to finish with the music, one comment I wanted to make is if you have a 60s spy movie, the music for the game is for when you are infiltrating. The thinky music is for when you are a cat and you don't want to be draw too much of attention.
That's exactly how I described it to him. I said it's like when you're sneaking into the place and you don't want to get caught and you're in the base, or then you're at the safe and you're trying to crack the safe. Like that's the kind of music vibe we're going for, is you don't get caught but you're sneaking around. Like that's exactly like what you just said. That's exactly what I told Alex.
So regarding the demo, I think we discovered the rule. It's a matter of filling in the points. The only thing, the gaps.
Yeah.
The only thing is these numbers still are incognito. I have an idea because they repeat. So this information here seems to go here, which says enter answer here. And it's going to be something and something else. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. But there are two 13s, which makes me unsure. We have to find.
But as you've already noticed, like you have duplicates, so it can't be just find the 1, find the 2, find the 3. There's several 2s. You were just pointing. There's 2 13s. So it's clearly not. It's not as simple as that's the first one, that's the second one. So it's something else.
Singapore. Who is in Singapore? What's in Singapore? Aside from the airport, I don't know anything about Singapore. It's like, have you been to Singapore? Yes. Oh, what did you visit? The airport. Arm wrestle? Mat fight? Arm wrestle? They seem to be related.
Arm wrestle and mud wrestle both work together, but that doesn't necessarily. I don't know if there's a Singapore wrestle. But what is on that guy's arm?
Good question.
It's clearly not wrestle. It doesn't fit.
No. I don't know how to call this. How this is called in English, or do I?
This is actually one of the most obscure ones on the puzzle. Some people have heard it. Some people have not heard of this. It's a more obscure reference. I will say that much. You aren't the only person who may not have heard of this particular phrase.
No, it's not technical. Sorry, it's one of. It's not like technical language, but I haven't been exposed. So, you mean the thing that's holding the arm?
Well, no, that you may be aware of, but the how it connects to Singapore is a very specific phrase that a lot of people say. What? I've never heard of that. So, but some people have.
Do you know Google? Please send help.
So, what does that look like on his arm?
The arm is broken.
So, what is he wearing?
We are being raided by puzzle junkies. Welcome in.
You guys do raids? Wow! I didn't know that streamers raided each other. That's cool.
Well, I'm surprised because this doesn't happen very often either. So it's kind of every time it happens, I feel like it's for the first time as well. No, not at all. You are very welcome. You can annoy my stream as many times as you want. We were welcome everyone. We were discussing if you can help me because English is not my forte. We were discussing what the guy is wearing on the arm, but it's the piece of cloth that's holding. But
what does he have on his arm? It'll be a 5-letter word, and it's a word that could come after arm, mud, and Singapore.
Same as, for example, Brazil nuts, butternut, or wing nut, which is the screwy thing, or bolt fabric, deadbolt, thunderbolt. It's like these words are the clues. But I'm stuck in here now, and I got to. If I keep clicking hints,
well,
it's going to
check out the last couple of comments. You don't need to go to hints. Look at what people are saying.
Okay, let's
look
see.
At chat.
I'm terrible at this. Say in advance. Singapore word is a drink a drink if it helps. Sling, Singapore sling. It's a cocktail. Sling.
Arm sling.
Arm sling.
Mud sling. Singapore sling.
Mud sling, Singapore sling. Slings and arrows. No idea. Slings.
So that too, a lot of the expressions in this puzzle are fairly common. I'm sure most people have heard of cats and dogs, or apples and oranges. Slings and arrows is a line, a famous line from a Shakespeare, from the Slings and Arrows of Outrageous Fortune. It's not as common as bells and whistles, but Shakespeare reference.
No wonder I didn't know. I wasn't around when Shakespeare.
Okay.
And then we have what I wanted to come to. It's the number one. So we have number one, but it's different word from sling and arrow.
Well, the reason there's no per line hint for number one is because you already revealed what the answer is to number one in the hints. When you open the hints box, it tells you what the answer is for line one, because that's why there's no per line hint there, is because you have the answer already. Keep going. Look at hint number five. Excuse me.
Hint number 5. I think you are talking about this one, but I was talking about this one. Maybe I'm confused now.
Hint number 5 is the answer to line 1.
Here's an figure, facts and figures. That's now okay. But and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So there are 17.
Oh, you're already down to answering the bottom. Okay.
Facts and
you're trying to do a lot of different things at once. Okay.
Yes, sometimes I think I shouldn't. So these numbers to the right of the screen, like this, 14, 10, some are repeated. And I was thinking, lucky I already played, but it's like playing for the first time again. Lucky me. Imagine if you can play type help for the first time again. This is me right now. So number 2 is like from cats it's A, and from dogs it's O, but it's not the same. So I was thinking maybe in number 2 goes, but there are 17 on the left, 17 lines, and 17 spaces at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9?
So what does that tell you? If there's 17 lines and 17 boxes at the bottom, what is just a general assumption you can make?
Each one goes to its space.
Right. There's one letter from each line will go into the bottom.
The number that it says here. Also, it's not considered. It's not considered as 2. It's 1. The whole. The 14 from the whole. It's. I was looking at cats and dogs because it's number 9. What makes? Because we know 9, 10, and 11. It's A and D. So we know the answer for number 9, which is cats and dogs. What makes number 9, cats and dogs, be an A? So it's the second letter, which is an A. Jamie. Puzzle Yankee says, is this part of the actual Puzzle Spy game? It's the demo. Google already answered, thank you. It's the demo or prelude, which is not included in the game. If it's the demo, it's not included. This is a
totally separate puzzle that's not in the game. Standalone demo. So you can do this and it's not ruining any of the game for you.
If you say it's the demo, you need to say it's not included in the game. And if you say it's the prelude, it's already explained. It's self-explanatory. So this number 13, now we can do the opposite. 1, 2, 13 is an N. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is an N. This is an N. Maybe this is cheating or it's a strategy.
No.
And for a number 11, 13 is a D.
It's a technique called back solving, where if you know the answer at the bottom, you can use that to solve the answer at the top. It's not cheating. It's just called back solving. It's kind of solving it in the reverse order. Totally legitimate way to do things.
What do I have missing? Hypodermic, pine, space, air, prime, and it has to be something in shakers. I don't know the expression, but like for example, cats and dogs is very common to me, or nuts and bolts. Pots
Do you
and
know an
pans.
expression? Pins and blank.
Sorry, pins.
Do you know an expression? Pins and blank. Pins and what's?
And what it goes here should make sense with these three, like at the same time. Again, going in reverse, like space shuttle, no. Space station doesn't seem. Pins and stations, I don't think. And even if it makes, I need to check with the other two, like pine station, hypodermic station, pins. Needles. Hypodermic needle? Space needle is a piece of American architecture. Ah, I remember the building. Pins and needles. And I'll take the time. I have only one more question about regarding the game or the interview, this part, and it's about accessibility options. But I think in this case, it's interesting. I'm keeping all the questions for everyone, but when I ask, it's interesting that some apply, some they don't, and it's okay if they don't. Do you think there's something to say about the accessibility because you have the hint system? That's accessibility. Nothing regarding color or the controller support, keyboard.
I think we could have done a lot better at accessibility, but as this was our first game, our priority became just getting it done as opposed to being accessible. There's a lot of places where text is included as graphics, and that doesn't make things easy for screen readers. There's a lot of text, there's a lot of typing, there's a lot of words. I'm not sure how certain people with certain disabilities would probably have a lot of trouble with this puzzle, and there is I'm sure a lot more we could have done with accessibility that we didn't do. We did focus on, as you pointed out, accessibility in terms of skill level and trying to give people hints, but I think that there's other areas where we probably fell down in terms of accessibility, in terms of language or differently sighted individuals, and it was our first game. We tried to just get it done more than getting it as fully accessible as we could have. And for anyone who is blocked by that, we sincerely apologize.
Figures is incorrectly spelled, I think.
It is incorrectly spelled.
Figures.
You had most of it. Whoop. Nope.
No? Figure?
That's correct. You got it.
This is correct. Okay. So 14, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's an E. Now it's possible. Because RL, I found out because I didn't find it was a mistake. It's because it doesn't make the answer. So if I finish somehow what do you reckon? Do I finish putting the letters here? I don't think I have any more questions. We talk about the music, the art, difficulty, about everything. Do you like to add anything else that you consider I haven't asked about? Would like to mention?
I think you covered most of it.
Number 4. It's a P. Elephant. Is it elephant?
Well, look at line 4. What's the third letter?
Number 4. The third letter.
Line 4.
P. I already. Yeah.
Okay. It's our talking is a little out of sync with the video, so it's like you've already got it, and I'm like, hey, get that. Oh no, you did.
7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's clear. Elephant. Elephant in singular. Elephant and something else. Probably an animal. And we continue from 12. 3, 10, 11, 12. So from 12, we don't have 8. 11 here is A. 1 is S. 9 is T. D or the T. T.
No one can see right now because I'm blocking them.
It's also blocked by your name.
That's what I meant. Oh, by my name too. Okay.
Let's hide that for a second. And wait, S.
You forgot to leave a space for the line that you haven't filled in yet.
Image, come back now.
You haven't answered line 12 yet, but so the A actually is for line 13. There you go.
4 is L and 14 we don't know. Yeah, all these numbers, all this, it's we haven't finished here. Puzzle Junkies, you say, do you want more guesses, please? Actually, if you need, I can even click on the light bulb and it will make a drawing appear that will give us a hint. So we talk about this during the interview. It goes like in order from less to most helpful, giving you clues. 17 is stones, sticks and limestone. Yes, millstone, tombstone. Stones. Now that you say. 11, 12, 13, 14 is castle, I think. Elephant and castle. That's my guess. If I have the answer correct, does the game move me to the next?
The game will move you forward. Yes.
Okay. Well, I think I'll do. For anyone watching, if they want to finish completing the puzzle, It's, as we said many times, it's unrelated to the game. You can play the game and later play the demo. It's a prelude, so story-wise it goes first, but you can play it even if it's just for the puzzle. So we'll move forward, and this is the afterward conversation of what they were trying
to go to one design decision. One of the complaints we got about the puzzle was that, hey, I wasn't finished doing that puzzle, and you've just moved me on to outside the puzzle, and people didn't like that. So in the game now, actually, when you finish the puzzle, all it does is bring up a big button that says continue, and you can click on the continue button and go back into the story, or you can stay there and finish doing the puzzle. Because a lot of people were like, I wasn't doing the puzzle yet. I got the answer, but I still didn't get all the lines. And so that was some feedback that we got that specifically said, we don't want to leave the puzzle as soon as we get the answer. Like... So nothing in the game does it the way the demo does it. We've learned since then.
When you are at the bar and you are eating your lunch, for a second you drop your knife and fork to get the glass of water, and comes the waiter and takes it away. It's like, I haven't finished. Don't take it. It's mine. I paid for it. And this is the afterwards conversation. Mechanically, nothing that we haven't seen. Like, we've seen the not choices matter, and there's the visual novel part. Anything that, if we continue, we'll see it's new, we haven't seen already? Otherwise, I'll move on to the last part of the interview.
But they do explain what Elephant Castle is. If you're like, what is Elephant and Castle? Well, it's a tube stop in London. It's a pub in London. It's a railroad station in London. It's a whole neighborhood in London. Like it's, if you were in London and said Elephant Castle, people would go, oh yeah, that's just south of the Thames. Like it's a specific place that people in London would know, and it's a tube stop in this case that we want to keep people from blowing up. So there is a whole explanation of what the heck Elephant Castle is if you are not familiar with it. We're skipping through that. And we're back again because there's a whole separate second puzzle that uses these same clues.
I remember now. I think we'll leave it here. Even though I would love to continue. But for the sake of time, we have some time to do the final part. How do I go back? Back is blackened. I just
because you can't go back out of a puzzle. Once you're in a puzzle, you've got to do that.
So I just
quit.
Escape and quit.
Preferences will get you to quit as well.
This is my last save. You see all these, because I finished the puzzle, and when I finished, I wanted to see all the clues, all the little pictures. Like, even though I knew the answer, I was wondering, I want to see this, because they're cute. And there was some about an ambulance or a truck or something like that. Alrighty. We go back to here. Full size mic. Okay, so I'll choose the most relevant, maybe, because this is the start of the fourth part, where I like to have your opinion on some topics a bit more general, broad, not so much, still related to you and the development of your game. But for example, something that I ask normally is, what's the most difficult part of development? And before you, so you can answer, and then I'll say something else.
It will be different for all different people. For me personally, the most difficult part is the coding part, because I am not a heavy-duty coder, and that's why I needed Cypher's help to do all the heavy-duty coding for puzzles and text input and clicking and dragging things and checking answers and things like that. Like I actually coded a whole bunch of the game myself in RenPy, all the places where characters are talking, all the hints, things like that, I coded myself. But like once you get to clicking and dragging and error checking and like complicated stuff like that, that is not most people's experience. Most people come to indie game from, oh yeah, I know how to code. The art is hard, but I'm kind of the opposite. The art's the fun part. The coding is actually my hardest part of developing.
Second part of this kind of follow-up question is that I'm expecting every indie developer that I interview to say marketing. Marketing is the hardest part because I'm making a game because I know how to make a game, even though I have certain ability on each of the parts, like the music, music, the art, the coding, etc. Or if I don't know, we can get someone. But the marketing, they don't consider doing it with an external source. They consider doing it themselves. But it's hard. What's your case? How do you feel? You feel confident on
50-50. You're absolutely right. It's like for some reason it's like I don't mind paying, getting someone external to do the soundtrack, but getting someone external to do marketing, it's like, oh, those people cost a lot of money. It seems, you're right. It seems a harder barrier to cross about, oh, I'll pay someone for marketing versus paying someone to help me code or do a capsule image for me or something like that. Most of the marketing I didn't mind doing. I learned a lot. I read a lot of stuff from Chris Sikowski from How to Market a Game. I hung out at that Discord. I got a lot of input from people. I watched some videos. I learned a lot about marketing. There's parts of marketing I find really easy. Just constantly posting to Blue Sky, I'm really good at posting to, and I post a lot there. I'm lousy at posting at Reddit just because there's so much noise there, and everyone's got their own little fiefdoms of rules. Of, you can't post this here except on Saturdays, and then you can only, I did not do a great job at that. I didn't do any TikTok, but I also did all my own trailers, and I found that a blast. You can pay people to do those. I have friends who, even with their friends and family rate, I'm like, oh, dude, I can't afford you. I know you're really professional, but I can't afford you. Guess I'll learn how to do it myself. And I did my own trailers, and I actually love my trailers, and I'm really happy with them. So certain aspects of marketing I found really fun. I found really enjoyable. Other parts like, oh, you should write to all these publications and tell them to review your game and send them review copies, and you should write to a ton of streamers. I'm honestly lousy at that. I did terribly at that. Maybe next time around I will hire someone to do the things that I have now learned that I'm not good at. It's like, yeah, I'll do my own trailers, but could you mail a bunch of streamers? I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't started No Clue, because at least now I feel like, okay, at least I've put it in front of some of the right streamers and right people reviewing games. But that being said, it's not an area that I did very well at, in all admission.
For anyone that doesn't know what No Clue is a Discord that I started that it's to help everyone, developers, players, and streamers, to connect them. And as Mike said, if you need marketing, it gives you a push. It exposes your game to players and if you are making a game. Now I'm talking to you, developer. If you are making a game, it will expose your game to streamers and content creators, which are different, and the players as well. Hopefully, mission accomplished. I think if that Discord made you made your life a little bit easier, I'm super glad that it did, because that's the reason I made it.
We'll see. I hope it did. At least it made me feel like I was getting my game in front of some of the right people. Whether any of them choose to stream or content create or whatever, I'm not sure yet. But it definitely felt like at least I was in the right place.
I wish I could ask yes or no, but you might want to expand. Is it marketing an ongoing thing?
Ask that again, I'm sorry.
Is marketing an ongoing thing? Like, do you feel you have to keep, even though it's been a year from release, you still have to promote and kind of...
I still would like to buy people to buy my game now that it is out. Now I want people to know about it. So yeah, there's stuff going on. I just signed up for a local convention that I'm going to have a half table at, and I'm going to bring the Puzzle Spy or Puzzle Spy demo to. And now I can, now instead of saying, hey, would you like to be on my mailing list, or would you like to try out the demo, or wish list the game on Steam? Now I can tell people it's available. You can go buy it right now. Like, so this is a great time to be marketing the game because it's out. I'm not allowed to talk about what Steam festivals I'm going to be in, but there are other Steam festivals coming up that Puzzle Spy will hopefully be a part of. My lips are sealed because they're not announced yet, but that's part of the ongoing marketing as well. You don't just, okay, I shipped it, now I don't have to think about it again. Now, there's other things that come up where people might be looking for games like this that you want to say, here we are, and we're on sale again, or, whatever the case may be.
Why is that not the default answer? I wonder. Next question is, how do you feel that... So, Puzzle Spy International is available now, and it landed on a puzzle market or a video game market, depending on how broad you think. How do you feel the market is? Do you feel it's coming out in a very crowded market? Do you think there are opportunities?
Yes to both. I mean, it's a crowded market. I saw someone, Dominique Tarrison, who's a reviewer, posted on Blue Sky this week about, oh, look at the list of here's 16 games coming out this week, and this is a light week for game releases. And that didn't even include Puzzle Spy. It didn't include some other things. It was very nice of someone to post on that. Wait, I'm looking forward to Puzzle Spy. But it's 20,000 games came out on Steam in the last year, and it was much more than the year before. Where there is no such thing anymore as a week that there's not a lot coming out. So it's always going to be a crowded market. The important thing is that not everyone wants to play every game. Just because I think Super Meat Boy, a version of it came out this week. Probably someone who wants to play that is not going to be someone who's into wordplay puzzles. Hopefully games can find their niches, the right people who are excited about them and want to play them, and aren't going to be as excited about something else that's a totally different genre. And yes, I know people are into more than one genre. Some people can both enjoy both Super Meat Boy and Puzzle Spy, but you just got to kind of hope that you are getting your game in front of the people who will appreciate it the most.
But you made a game that it's very different to anything else, so you're a little bit of in an advantage, I think.
An advantage and a disadvantage. I mean, because it's not like everything else, you can't just say, hey, everyone who loved... I mean, you can say, Professor Layton. If you love Professor Layton, come play Puzzle Spy. But where do you find all the Professor Layton fans? They're all on Nintendo. They may not even be on Steam. I know that this game would appeal to, because we're keeping track, Puzzle Pint. People who play Puzzle Pint would love Puzzle Spy. But there's no way for me to get in touch with everyone who plays Puzzle Pint. I've done my best to leave, I leave little postcards at my local Puzzle Pint. So everyone in the Bay Area who's going to Puzzle Pints has seen my postcard and hopefully is picking up the game. But there's, as I said, Puzzle Pint is all over the world. So, some of those people don't know about Puzzle Spy, but probably really like it. How do I find those people? I don't know.
They should have some inner circles, groups somewhere.
I only just discovered this week that they actually had a Blue Sky page, but I can't post to it because I'm it's just for them to announce their own thing.
If any insider on those secret societies is watching the stream, please share Puzzle Spy International. Let them know about.
Yeah.
Mike, how are we going with time regarding time? I have fine. Like I have a few, like 3, and then chat questions and the special question.
Okay, yeah. Let's.
What would you consider a success?
The game released.
Releasing a game.
The game released. It's we got the game out. We have never made an indie game before. We worked on it for a few years. We released it. That's a success. That's great.
Yay.
We're super happy. We're super stoked.
Let's celebrate.
Yay.
Good question. Sorry. Good answer. Good answer. So 2 more. Did you make the game that you wanted initially? Aside from the fact that you explained that you reduced the scope, the question is more towards: did you make a sacrifice or change something in the game because you thought it would fit better within the market? Not because of development, but we have to add this because otherwise we will not sell, or people won't look at our game. So kind of this type of change, or you made everything that you wanted?
We made the game we wanted to make, and it's a weird game. It's a niche game. It's like Talia was commenting before when she was here. It's like, just follow your weird and make the weird thing you want to make. We made the game we wanted to make. It will not be everyone's cup of tea. For some, it'll be too easy. For some, it'll be too hard. We've tried to balance that as much as possible, but in the end, I think the only major change we made in the game, aside from scope, is we ended up spending a lot more time making hints than we originally thought we would. Like Puzzle Pint doesn't normally come with hints, and we just like, we might need a hint or two. We might need a lot more hints. We might need to really walk people through this in case they don't get it. I wouldn't say that was a compromise. It was just an understanding that people are coming to the game from very different places. So that wasn't a compromise. But we did end up spending a lot more on time figuring out how to do hints for every single puzzle than we initially thought that we would do. But aside from that, we made the exact game we wanted to make. And, we're happy with it.
And I'm glad you did. What is beyond Puzzle Spy International now? Do you feel emptiness in your heart? Aside from a little corner full of marketing?
It only came out yesterday. I don't think our hearts have emptied out yet. And I'm compiling a list of, as people put comments on Steam, it's like, we better fix that. We gotta fix that. So we're not 100% done with it. But that being said, we're going to take some time off. Talia still has about 2 more months in finishing her masters. We're going to play a lot of games that we are backlogged on that we have not played. We are already talking about our next game. I don't want to say too much detail because it may change, but we're definitely looking at the area of no matter what we do, I can say that a game from Travel Friendly Cake will have a lot of personality. It will be pretty accessible to people. It will be wholesome and non-violent, and it will have fun puzzles. And those are the things that we think consistently. Will it be the same kind of game? Probably not. We've been looking at the idea of narrative deduction games. As I said, we like type help. We have some interesting ideas. We have some new ideas we want to bring to it, and we have our own personality, which will be, if we make a narrative deduction game, it is not going to feel like anyone else's narrative deduction game. It's going to have its own personality.
That's major words.
But that being said, we haven't built one of those before. We have some ideas. We've played some of them, and we have a bunch of other ones we want to play. We're not committing to anything yet, but that's what we're leaning towards right now.
You need to play games to to learn about games and get ideas, and you need to be exposed to what others are doing. So
I feel like, especially in certain genres, you need to play the most revered games of those genres. It would feel very weird to make a narrative deduction game and say, what? We've never played Golden Idol. What do you mean it's like Golden Idol or not like Golden Idol? We've never played it. Like, that would feel like a silly statement. Like, how can you make a narrative deduction game but you've never played Golden Idol? But at this point in time, we haven't played Golden Idol. We haven't played Obra Dinn. So we have a little bit of a backlog of things that, if we're going to make a narrative deduction game, we want to play some of the ones that everyone's always talking about, because otherwise people will bring it up in conversation and you'll just go, I don't know, I never played that one. Like, there's a lot of games you can get away with not playing. You don't have to play everything. But I feel like in certain genres, if you're making a certain kind of game, you should at least be familiar with the games that everyone else is going to compare it to in that genre.
Puzzle junkies know about Obra Dinn because they are. I don't know if they have finished it, but Merck is like playing for the second time, I think, or it's not the first time. So if you play Obra Dinn, you might want to play it many times. You're gonna have a great time. Yes, recommend Obra Dinn as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's like everyone's talked about it. I mean, we know it's great. It's just we haven't got there yet. So
I think I don't have any more questions from myself. So I'll ask the only one that I got from the chat, which comes from Gubertron, who asks, what is the funniest place name in the game? North Piddle still makes me laugh.
North Piddle is absolutely the funniest place name in any of the games. We picked that out specifically because it was a funny name. Most of the other places you visit are not chosen for their humor value. They're chosen because they were interesting places to visit. So, you end up in Paris, for example. It's not a very funny name, but it was a cool city to visit, and we did some nice art from there. And, you visit, the game starts in Rome. Again, not a very funny name, but it was a classic city, and we really wanted to, start with a classic city. So North Piddle is still the funniest name you will find.
Goober says that you have a great mustache, but he said in the chat, so I don't have to tell you. I must say though that your caricature, if I say caricature, is that English? Like
yeah, no, that's valid word.
The caricature for your profile picture is 1-to-1 you. Like, you don't have to imagine anything. It's exactly, your profile picture is a photo of you. That's the only one I got. The only question that I got from the chat. If I don't think I missed any. They were surprised about the art and the music. So what's left is the special question. Special question, it's like an intricate thing I have to explain, but it's super easy. I had an interview before this with Iceblink. Iceblink is two developers, Atollfrog and Lou, who developed Slack Trip. It was released in December, so it's also available now. It's a pathfinding game with a dash of Sokoban. In their interview, they left a question for my next interviewee, which is you. So that question comes from them, and at the same time I will ask you to leave behind a question for my next interviewee. So
I love it. Okay.
It's a way to promote afterwards, after this interview. Marketing machine still working. When I have my next interview, I will tell them about Puzzle Spy International and about you and your question. First, I'll ask you the question from Iceblink. and while I share your profile, social profile, and where everyone watching can find the game, I'll allow some time for you to think of the question you will leave for my next interview. Question from Atoll Frog and Lou is, it's a bit of a situation. Atoll Frog had some trouble managing tasks and focusing, because when you are on your own, even if you are 2 people making a game, there's a lot of things to do, and you have to kind of prioritize. So even with prioritizing, you are doing the art, but at the same time, next to you, there's someone tapping, hey, the music, and on the other shot, hey, the marketing and the programming and a lot of things. So their question is, how do you manage multitasking efficiently? And if there's any, what tools help you the most?
Tools, I will approach tools first because I'm very I don't use a lot of tools. I have a Google Doc. I have a Google spreadsheet, and that's everything. It's got tabs for each puzzle, it's got tabs for my testers, and it's got tabs for my list of things to do, all color-coded, prioritized. Anytime I put a task in my to-do list Google Doc, it's okay, what priority is this? Is this a nice to have? Is this a need to have? Is this a high priority? Is this a low priority? And I color code them all, and then I just kind of look at and priority comes into, does this need to be done now? Because there's 3 other things waiting for it. So I just kind of, anytime a task goes on the list, I prioritize it based on need and dependencies, and then use that to decide what to do next. That being said, sometimes it's you're in the mood to I'm in the mood to draw tonight. I know I should be doing some coding, but I really am excited about doing just this one piece of art. I'm just going to do that because that's where my head is at. There's something about going with the flow of not against the grain of what your brain wants to do, but with the grain of what your brain wants to do. But that being said, if you have a dependency, if someone's waiting for something, they can't do this until you do that, then, prioritize that. Easier said than done. There's so many different things to do with any game development, but that's a few of my tricks and tips.
Thank you for that. And I'll share your everything. I'll say where viewers can find you while you think of the question you want to leave for the future. You're sending.
Does it have to be development? Does it have to be specifically about the process of making a game, or can it be a sillier question? Or
it's up to you. It's your interview. It's up to you. I'll say that I can't assure that the next interviewee will be a developer, but this is about puzzle games, about sharing knowledge about how to make puzzle games. So probably it will not be president of Australia, for example.
Okay.
So I don't know actually what to answer. If it's better or not, it's up to you. It's up to you. Completely.
Okay, I have an idea. It works better for a developer, but if it's not a developer, you can just say, okay, put yourselves in the shoes of a developer and pretend you're making a game. Because it's a hypothetical question.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I can bring to the channel someone who makes music, exclusively music for video games or for puzzle video games. But I don't know. I don't know who will. I don't have it arranged already. Never happened that I know who is going to be. But if you want to ask different color shoes, socks, yes or no, it's also valid. It's up to you. Meanwhile, I will say that you can find the viewer, like they say in the Nintendo Direct, I'm talking to you, directly to you, viewer, either if you are currently live on stream or if you are watching as a bot. You can find Puzzles by International on Blue Sky. But I will share the Blue Sky handle for Mike, and from there it's a matter of, at the top there are links. These links can take you to the game profile on Blue Sky. They are on itch.io as well, although on itch.io you will find the demo. No, you will not find the game because the game is on Steam. Where is my chat actually? I have 2 chats, so I'll share it twice. First on YouTube, this is the handle. Actually, it'll be readable on the chat, I'm not sure. If you are watching from YouTube, that's sent already. I don't know why it doesn't appear on the chat. And if you are on Twitch, this is the handle. It splits it for a reason. Okay. I'll send it again because I have the links hidden. So this is all together. Still hides it. Why? My chat doesn't like me. Can I say? Well, it doesn't appear on my screen chat. It doesn't appear because it's blocked. But in each of the chats, it's very complicated. I don't even understand myself sometimes. But if you're watching right now on YouTube or on Twitch, you have the link. It should. Puzzle Junkie says it's working. So I'm happy. Finally. If you are watching as a bot, I still have to make it work, because otherwise, you know what? I leave the link. If you're watching as a bot, I leave the link in the video description. That will be better. I leave all the links for all profiles. The game, Mike, Talia as well. She's on Blue Sky. I didn't know.
She is.
So
she's not as active as I am.
Should I add?
She's too busy.
You'll find all the links there.
The main one is the Puzzle Spy account. But if you want to look for me, I'm there and I'm active on Blue Sky. She's working full time and she's in school full time. She's not as active on Blue Sky.
And if you want to know more about this mysterious game that it's coming after Puzzle Spy International, that you heard about it here first, you would probably prefer to follow you than Puzzle Spy International account, right?
Follow both. I mean, if we as Travel Friendly Cake have another game coming out, we'll be posting it on the official account. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while.
The other account, yeah, but you can share the development and we can learn. Meanwhile, the other account is not. Actually, I'll check myself. I was going to ask, is it for the other Blue Sky account is for Puzzle Spy International specifically, or is Travel Friendly Cake?
At the moment, it's the same thing. I would imagine that we'll just keep that account and keep posting there if we have a second game. But at the moment, the two are synonymous, and I couldn't get the name Puzzle Spy International because it was too long for Blue Sky. So that's why it's Agent Epsilon .bluesky.social. So
you will do the rebranding when the second game comes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's there. Now you know where to find, because the game is already available. It's released. This is first time it happens in the channel. I don't have to tell you when it comes out. So Mike, do you have your question for the future? We'll put it in a time capsule.
My question to the next interviewee if you're a developer, this is easy. If you're not a developer, pretend you're a developer. Your next game that you're making, either realistically or hypothetically, has to be a license. It can be a license of you can make another game, you can make a TV show into a game, you can make a movie into a game, you can make a comic into a game. You have to do a licensed game. What license do you pick and why?
Puzzle Spy International.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Like, is there an old game that you want to remake? Is there a new game you want to remake? Is there a TV show you've been dying to turn into a visual novel? Whatever it is, like, you have to make a licensed game. What license do you choose and why?
I usually ask, I can't do this better than you did. I usually ask their question, but for the future, I'm considering showing them the clip of you asking the question. All right.
Up to you. You have to do royalties, but okay.
Ooh. I think this is it from me and from the chat and from past interviews. Would you like to add anything else? Last famous words?
No. Thank you for folks who did show up. Thanks for rating Puzzle Junkies. Nice meeting you. And Goobertron and other folks and future folks who watch this. Thanks for watching and hope you'll check out the game.
The game is already available, as I said, and it's on Steam. Don't go looking anywhere else. Steam. And it released March 30th, whenever that was but it's already available. Thank you, Mike, for your time, for your insight, for everything. This interview is nothing like I've done before. A lot of things were different, and I appreciate learning even more than with your type of game, which is very different and unique. We'll see you again. We'll need to sign a non-exclusivity contract for the next game. Something we have to do something. Hopefully we'll see you soon, or the soonest, and we'll see you around. Thank you.
See you all.
We change scene now in here, so that I say goodbye to everyone. And again, thanks everyone in the chat, everyone watching, and everyone lurking. Also, if you're watching us above as well, please leave a comment, ask your questions for Mike. Even if the stream has finished, I can still send them both Talia and Mike your questions. And for me in particular, I'll come back next week, normal time, actually normal day, because it's normal time today, but it's a day before. And we will play, I can say, because unless there's a meteorite coming to the Earth, plan is not going to change. We will play Murder at the Birch Tree Theater, which released a couple of weeks ago, I think, and Museum Film Festival. Museum, it's spelled as in the cat, meow, like M-E-W, Museum Film Festival. Until then, don't be puzzled. Thank you everyone for sharing your time with me, and bye bye now. Bye bye.